our circle from all that stressed. We trust the guardians, trust the guides, trust the open and what's inside. When the moon is high, it's time to fly. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Let's get disenraged, time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. When you feel like you've had enough and the week was busy and tough, you need a break, you need some fun. You need to take time from the run. We'll blow your mind. We're just in time. Seek and ye shall find. Time to unwind. Let's get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. Aliens, ghosts, spirits and shadows, spirituality, ultra reality, the Bible, the pagans, all the conspiracies, tarot, astrology, and alternate history. Open your heart to other possibilities and get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged, 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 disenraged.
All right. I was late, but we made it. And Jennifer is being a good sport about it, per usual. Thank you for finding the videos tonight, Jennifer, and bearing with me as we finished a queer stream that was just really good. Are you talking? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Yeah, I was. I did it again all the time because it's my. It wouldn't be disenraged if I didn't fuck something up with my
It's
microphone.
okay. You're not the professional streamer on the internet. I am, so it's okay.
It's not like I don't know what a fucking mute button is, though. I mean, anyway, yeah. Sorry. It's been a very strange day. It's been a very discombobulating day, and so yeah, and no worries. I watched your you had like a 10-minute clip from I think one of the spy stream you did yesterday.
Yeah, wasn't that
I
good?
watched that. I was like, oh damn, that was some good shit. That was really just coming out and saying it kind of stuff. I was like, I sent it to a friend of mine, and I'm like, check this shit out, and he's like, oh, those bastards. He was, yeah.
It's like, it's undeniable. Like, it's like everything I've been saying is right, and people are starting to realize it, but they don't want to admit it because I pissed them off when I was right the first time. And so now it's just like, it's just a matter of time before everyone bends the knee and was like, Karlyn was right all along, and she tried to tell us, and we didn't fucking listen, and now she has video of every single thing she's ever said. Ha ha.
Yeah. No, I've always, I think the community's always known you were spot on. Even I think what it is it's just.
Oh, they did release it? Good.
I think it's just the we want the normalcy bias. Like, we don't want to believe that this could possibly be a thing, that this could possibly be happening in this country, and how could this even? Well, there can't be that many of them. Who knew? There are thousands upon thousands,
tens, and there are hundreds of thousands,
of thousands, yeah. And it's like,
not even more. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
The DSA this week passed 120,000 dues paying members. That's not just members that are hanging around the DSA. Whoa. That's 120,000 people paying monthly dues to the national DSA.
God. Yeah. I think whenever the shit hits the fan from their end, when they ever decide to fully act, I think it's going to shock people.
Oh yeah.
The amount of our population that is thinking this way, or the ones that think that way without realizing they're thinking that way. Like they're getting duped by the lingo.
And you know what I'm going to do when it starts to shock people? I'm going to make the gif of like, the cat with the nail file.
Yeah. Yep. I think that works. Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to tell you. I tried. You didn't want to listen. You didn't like me. You didn't like my hair. You didn't like my voice. You didn't like my weight. You focused on everything except the thing I was saying. And now you get what you get. You fuck around, find out, okay?
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, I had a little adventure last night.
Oh yeah, what happened?
Yeah, because my bruise here.
Oh, did you get hit by something in the woods?
And
did you get hit by a monster? Did you fall down?
This is what inspired tonight's subject matter. And I have cuts all down my arm too. So we have a lot of wildlife around here, and it's really cool. And I've enjoyed it. We've got weasels. I've never seen freaking weasels before. I just geek out every time I see a freaking weasel. There's deer that come right through here. And then, at night, it's a little creepy, when we walk the dogs and you hear something very clearly walking through the forest, and it's a deer, just going through. But still, it kind of makes you go, huh. It makes it very magical and eerie at the same time. And we have some skunks and what else? We've got, just all kinds of shit around here. But anyway, so, and you want your dogs to not play with the black and white kitties. You definitely don't.
No, you don't want them to play with them. No.
My mom and dad came over last night for dinner. I made a huge pot of green chili, and we had a lovely, lovely evening. And then my dad went home, and my mom and I were going to sit outside for a little while. Well, my mom she's not used to having to be aware of dogs. So she opened the door and Anya bolted. Poof, gone. Into the woods she went. Fuck. And she's like, do we need to get flashlights? I'm like, no, she'll be back. But it's scary because I don't want her to get hurt. I don't want her to run anything dangerous. And I don't want to have to, get kicked out of where I'm living because somebody found my stray dog running through the woods, because that could happen. So eventually she comes back and she is sneezing and drooling and hit by a skunk.
Oh man.
Wonderful. Okay.
It's over.
So it wasn't that bad, thankfully. It wasn't a direct. We've had direct to the face skunk hits with my other dogs in Colorado before, and it's so sad. It's like the poor things, but you earned it, Anyway, so we just wiped her down, and that was all we needed to do. And we sat and talked for a little while, and then I'm like, well, I'll walk you home, and we'll take the dogs out. I'll take them for their last walk. And so I came, and husband was like kind of passed out on the couch while mom and I were out talking. This is important in a minute. And we get to her camper, and she walks inside, and I'm trying to drag my animals away from her camper. And they just both went, whoop, and they bolted, dragged my ass across the grass, through the gravel of where the camper is standing, over the septic hose.
Oh no.
Before I could get the leashes off my wrists, and they bolted underneath my parents' camper.
Oh no.
I was at my parents' camper. They must have dragged me 8 feet.
Wow.
And I was like, and I'm like, so I just got up and I look under there, and they both look like they're on something. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking great, because it could be a rabbit. I don't want to see them tear apart a rabbit. Please don't make me look at that. It was pitch black too, and I had my phone flashlight, so I had a regular flashlight too, and I was looking, and I'm like, oh great, I'm never gonna get them out from under there. And my mom says through the window, she's like, are you okay? What happened? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. The dogs just chased something under your camper, and they dragged me through the rocks. And so she came out to help me. We got Anya, and then Bodhi came out. They both smelled like skunk. And I put my flashlight down, and it was a little baby skunk.
Oh!
And I was like, oh God, no, not a baby. Oh, I was I can't even.
Oh!
So we're holding on to them, and I said, get some shampoo. We need to wash them off. We can hose them off, because mom, we got the outdoor shower, right? And she has one too. So, and this little thing, it was only this big laid out. It couldn't have been 5 inches long. It was a baby.
Poor
I'm like,
skunk.
why are you away from your mama in the middle of the night, away from your nest?
Oh,
This poor thing. And I think we saw mama a couple nights ago walking through, big skunk. But I like skunks. I'm not scared of them. Just don't bother them, you know? But anyway, so we got Anya washed off, and then Bodhi bolts again. He goes back under the trailer to get the body of the skunk and drag it out so he could play with it more or whatever he was going to. And I finally got him away because I think he activated it. And then all of a sudden he's like, and he starts rubbing his face in the grass because he had gotten sprayed right in the face by the last act this skunk did. And I was like, oh my God, I was so upset. I can't even tell you, but we could not get Bodhi. My mom kept shooting him in the face with the hose. And of course that's going to make him, run. And I couldn't get him calmed down. He almost came out of his harness a couple times. And I've been working so hard to train them to be better walkers. And I'm using techniques that I've been shown by people who train dogs and, treating and doing anyway, but all of that went out the window. And now I'm wrestling these assholes back to my camper. And I came inside and Michael, honey, did I wake you up or are you already awake? I couldn't remember. I woke him up because I threw the dog leashes at him. And I said, they're your fucking dogs now. I'm done. I'm done.
Dog time over.
I don't want to talk to these dogs. I don't want to look at these dogs. I don't even want, no, I'm done with the dogs. These are not my dogs. These are your dogs. I was so angry. And then I cried for half an hour over the baby skunk. And then I watched the movie and then I went to bed. And I said, I don't want the dogs in the bed. They stink. I'm not going to deal with it right now. Anya's clean. Bodhi isn't. But come to find out, mostly it was their gear. It wasn't really their fur. So I soaked their harnesses and leashes and everything today. And then forgot, of course, the $65 Sonic tick prevention devices that I had on there. And I just fried those. So now I got to order them again. $120 down the drain. So I was I spent today going, do I need dogs? Do I really need dogs? I just really had a crisis today with them because it hurt me too. And they do that. They've been pulling our joints out of our sockets, walking them. They're so overstimulated. And like I said, we've been running them. We've been taking the dog park. We train them and they're just being assholes. And I think I had a very bad dog mom day today.
So. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I'm sorry.
And our camper smells like suck. It's much better now. I don't really smell it much anymore, but it's much better.
Listen, look on the bright side. They could be kids.
Yeah. That is true. They could be
children.
Yeah.
They could be able to talk.
Yeah. That's true.
This is the problem. I'll take a dog any day over a child. Dog can't talk back. Dog can whine, dog can complain, dog can do a statement shit in the middle of your floor, but dog can't talk back to you.
No, but a human child can't drag me through gravel either.
Until they're older.
Well,
and then they get into your fucking car and then they do shit in the car that you don't want them to do.
True.
Yeah. It all comes around.
Well, I tell my dad that too. Sometimes he's like, "Why'd you have to get fucking dogs?" And I go, "Well, it could have been worse, Dad. You could have had grandchildren." He's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, exactly. See, people think that like all women want to have kids, and it's just like, no. Actually,
I did for a while, but that went away.
No, not all women want to have kids. It's not everyone's dream. If it's your dream, that's fine. It is not everyone's dream. Okay.
And we need smart people having children. So if you're a smart person, especially, go breed. But I aged out for reasons.
I like my money and I like my freedom, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that decision. Yeah. Actually.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate you finding the videos for tonight. What are we watching? We're watching about skinwalkers and monsters. What the fuck is a cryptoid? I don't even know what that term means.
A cryptid is a creature that is not verified by science. The proof.
Oh, it's a monster. It's a mystical being.
Yeah, think of like something that's cryptic as something that's hidden or it's undiscoverable, or it's not been it has not been clearly defined or explained yet. And so these creatures are creatures that are mythic. They're part of, and every culture has cryptids, but I focused on 3. I don't know if we'll watch all 3. If we do, great. If not, but I focused on 3 cryptic cryptids of America that are two of which are from Native American mythos, and then the third one I'm not exactly sure. I kind of know. I think the third one is like it's like during the Salem witch trial kind of period. Is in it. So we've got the hold on, hold on. I have to remind myself because my brain, I'm just absolutely scattered. I got that stressed out. My whole nervous
system. It's all good, Jennifer. You're fine. You're doing fine. Relax.
So Skinwalkers come from the Navajo. So that was my region over there in the West. And then now I am in the territory of the Wendigo. And the Wendigo is part of the Algonquin type people. Excuse me. The Algonquin speakers, I think they call them. I don't know, but it's the Indians over here on the eastern side. And then we have the Jersey Devil, if we get to that. And I believe the Jersey Devil was supposedly the cursed baby of somebody. And of course, Puritans and stuff and their curses and they're worse than riches. They were worse than witches, I swear. But anyway, so they came up with this thing that this woman was pregnant and she was hexed or something, and she made this devil that flew out of her when it was born. And but these creatures are all things that you might see. Bigfoot is considered, Sasquatch is considered a cryptid. So you have some maybe images of them. I was looking, then I went down the rabbit hole and just started watching cryptid videos. If anybody ever gets if you're not scared, you don't get scared easily, watch the cryptids caught on camera compilation.
Really?
They are so great. Some of them are really fucking spooky, really scary. Some of them you can tell what it is. Like one of them, I was like, it was so crystal clear, and it was meant to be a skinwalker. It was so crystal clear of this creature walking up to this woman's front door. And then I watched the clip again, and you could see the foot kind of squish in a weird way. I'm like, that is a dog in a rubber suit. Ugh. But you can see some of it is unexplainable though. And yeah, really spooky. So I found these very cool videos that we can learn a little bit about some of the things that go bump in the night, if you will, out in the woods.
Cool. Well, I think this sounds like a great topic for the night. Let me get the videos up. I put them in kind of the order you sent them to me in, and we got the Skinwalker one first. Is that where you want to start?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we're just going to watch some fun videos about some mystical monsters and stuff like that, and we're going to talk about them. If you guys have things you want to say in the chat, please feel free to go ahead. As a reminder, if you are new here to DISENRAGE, this is a no politics zone. This is a no stress zone. This is also a no Christian proselytizing zone, because neither Jennifer and I are Christians, and it's not that you can't be Christians. If you want to be a Christian, that's fine. Just no proselytization. This is our spiritual fun church time. We don't come into your church and proselytize to you. Don't come into ours and proselytize to us, except Cynthia can do whatever she wants, although Cynthia would never proselytize. Cynthia can do whatever she wants. She wants to throw down 5 channel memberships for the crew. We appreciate her. W's in the chat to our Emerald Queen, Cynthia. Thank you so much, Cynthia. You are the best. All right, let's dig in. Ooh.
This is a really cool little channel too. I'm gonna have to check out some more of their stuff.
Magic.
Beneath the expansive night sky of the Navajo lands, a chilling howl echoes through the darkness. Miles from the nearest town, a lone rancher stands on his porch, his skin prickling with the electrifying sense of being watched. This is no ordinary night. The winds seem to carry whispers of a long-feared legend, a tale passed down through generations, alive in the heartbeats of those who dare to speak of it. This is the realm of the Skinwalkers, creatures shrouded in mystery and fear, deeply rooted in Navajo folklore. But before we delve deeper, it's important to acknowledge the cultural sensitivity surrounding the discussion of Skinwalkers.
The cultural Are we about to have a cultural sensitivity training about talking about Skinwalkers?
No.
Is this cultural appropriation?
That's it. That was the one mention of we just want to be sensitive to the Navajo people. This is a documentary.
Okay. We're not saying all Navajo are Skinwalkers. We're saying that Skinwalker is a Navajo myth.
It comes from the Navajo, but I guess it's like white guilt because we have to be super careful that we aren't treading on the cultures and mythos of the Native Americans, because apparently their mythos is more important than everybody else's, and we should respect it.
Well, they had their land stolen and they got put on reservations and could basically get paid to drink and do God knows what for the rest of their lives. And so, is that the type of cultural sensitivity that we were looking for?
We just need to protect our Native people.
I mean, we put them on reservations and give them fucking money. I think we do a great job of protecting them. They're fine.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this.
They can have casinos. They get to have all the casinos and get all that casino money. We didn't get to have, they got that before us. It's not fair.
They get to wear eagle feathers and sell turquoise. I don't think anybody can sell turquoise unless you're a Native American.
Yeah. Some might say they have Native American privilege to be able to have, free money for booze and casinos and all that shit.
It's that's one of those things that it's a long battle between Native tribes and the American government, and it's both sides there's fault on both sides, both in and out of the reservations. A lot of and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I've listened to many tribal women who have come forward about some of the abuse and stuff that goes on there, and how the tribal leaders kind of like to keep their people the way they are, and it's not necessarily the American government. So that's not cool. But anyway, that's off topic.
Cultural sensitivity.
Just for that moment.
Not just stories. They are profound elements of a living culture, deeply interwoven with the beliefs and practices of the Navajo people. The Navajo, or Diné, have long nurtured a rich culture, full of myths and legends, each embedded with life lessons and spiritual wisdom. Among these, the Skinwalker narrative stands distinct, a chilling contrast to human nature and a reflection of the dire consequences of spiritual deception. Skinwalkers, known in the Navajo language as Yi Nald Lushi, translate to he who walks on all fours. This name itself is evocative, hinting at the unnatural reversal of the natural order, where humans or human-like creatures forsake their upright walk to creep on all fours, embodying their descent into moral decay. In Navajo mythology and folklore, the universe is perceived as a delicate balance between harmony and chaos. Every action, whether seen or unseen, has reverberations that affect both the natural and the spiritual realms. This cosmic equilibrium is maintained through strict adherence to Navajo ethical and spiritual laws, which govern all aspects of life and interaction within the world. Central to these practices is the concept of the ways, various paths of spiritual practice that not only enhance life, but also help maintain the universe's cosmic balance. The Blessing Way, or Hoju-ji, represents the core of normative spiritual practices among the Navajo. It is a path dedicated to healing, protection, and the promotion of harmony. This way is grounded in the Navajo philosophy of Hoju, which translates to beauty, harmony, balance, and well-being. The Blessing Way encompasses not just specific rituals, but a holistic way of life that encourages living in accordance with these principles. The ceremonies associated with the Blessing Way often involve intricate sand paintings, chants, prayers, and rituals that are designed to restore balance and peace to the individual, the community, and the environment. These practices are preventive and curative, aiming to align daily life with the forces of harmony and health that pervade the universe. Contrasting sharply with the Blessing Way is the Witchery Way.
The Witchery Way, Jetafire.
Known in Navajo as one of the paths that employ spiritual powers for malevolent and harmful ends.
So they're not like the Native Americans don't. They don't really have a word for witch, and it isn't a witch, but it's because the dude who is investigating, like trying to translate the language into English, and there's just no good word for it. So it's like witchery. What he's got a couple others. I think he goes into it later, but I mean, it's just a bad translation. It's not native witches. They're not witches. They're I like to think of them more in the shamanic path, especially with their animal, the animal spirit work that they do.
Yeah, I would think that makes more sense to me too. Nuruti, thanks so much for the super chat. My brother that I live with goes in on Friday to sign documents and close on his first house. Send thoughts and prayers. The move goes okay. Yeah, definitely. Like that's awesome, bro. Congrats to you. Congrats to your brother. We'll definitely be spending positive energy your way.
Healing and protective practices of the Blessing Way, and is often regarded as a corruption and perversion of these more benevolent mystical practices. The Witchery Way is characterized by its use of sorcery to cause harm, disrupt harmony.
You've got to make a street sign that says Witchery Way.
Oh, I love that.
And have it hanging like outside, like your house or something. Or
Well, I've been trying to think of like what we would call, if we were able to do a homestead, like what would we name it? And I've been trying to think of something kind of spiritual, but I'll have to call our driveway Witchery Way.
Witchery Way. It's perfect.
And bring about sickness, misfortune, and chaos. It reflects the potential for spiritual knowledge to be twisted for destructive purposes. Practices associated with the Witchery Way involve various forms of dark sorcery that are directly aimed at causing harm to others. This could include casting spells meant to bring illness, using charms to sow discord, or performing rituals that invert the natural order of things. Such practices stand in direct opposition to the Navajo belief in walking in beauty and living in harmony with all creation. They are considered a grave violation of both ethical and spiritual laws, disrupting the balance that the Blessing Way seeks to uphold. The interplay between the Witchery Way and the Blessing Way in Navajo culture underscores a broader philosophical and ethical dialogue about the nature of power and responsibility. While the Blessing Way seeks to align individuals with the constructive forces of the universe, the Witchery Way serves as a cautionary example of how these powers can be misused. Both ways, however, are integral to understanding the Navajo worldview, which accommodates the dualities of human nature and the spiritual complexities of the universe. The Skinwalkers are perhaps the most chilling embodiments of the Witchery Way's influence. According to Navajo lore, Skinwalkers were not born evil, but were once respected healers or spiritual leaders within their communities.
When healers go bad.
These individuals, however, were corrupted by the seductive allure of power and the dark capabilities it could unleash. Whether tempted by the greed and lust for power, or hubris in thinking one can control the spiritual forces, these individuals tapped into a force that would change them forever. The transformation from a healer or spiritual leader into a skinwalker is marked by a profound spiritual degradation, a fall from grace that is both metaphorical and literal. The initiation into the skinwalker path is believed to require an act so evil and taboo that it irrevocably severs the individual's ties to all protective and benign spiritual forces. Typically, this act involves the murder of a close family member, a betrayal that grants the perpetrator forbidden knowledge and powers, but also aligns them with darker forces within the natural and spiritual realm.
I think they especially favor it if you do kids, if you kill a child like your niece or nephew or something like that.
That makes sense.
It's horrible.
Pariahs within their own culture and the natural world. A newly created skinwalker is said to lose their shadow as a symbolic representation of their lost soul and humanity. The lore of the creation of a skinwalker serves as a powerful cautionary tale within Navajo culture, highlighting the dangers of hubris and the consequences of misusing sacred power. It reinforces the cultural values of humility, respect for spiritual laws, and the critical importance of maintaining harmony within the natural order. The Skinwalker is known for their formidable abilities. These entities embody the darkest aspects of power and its potential for corruption. The most chilling aspect of the Skinwalker is its ability to transform into various animals. This transformation is central to their identity as Yinald Lushi. Such transformations are achieved through deeply taboo rituals that involve the killing of an animal or other living creature, skinning it, and then donning the animal's skins, all of which is strictly forbidden in Navajo culture under normal circumstances. These skins are not merely disguises, but are believed to imbue the skinwalker with the essential qualities of the animal itself, its strength, its stealth, and instinct.
Like a werewolf.
Skinwalkers may also carry talismans made from bones, feathers, or other animal parts, believed to enhance their powers and protect them from being discovered. They are often portrayed as malevolent witches who use their powers to harm others for personal gain. They are the antithesis of what Navajo spiritual practices stand for, embodying selfishness, greed, and chaos. They are also cautionary figures. Stories of skinwalkers serve as moral lessons against the misuse of spiritual power and the dangers of breaking cultural taboos. The physical appearance of skinwalkers, while inconsistent due to their shape-shifting abilities, carries some distinct characteristics. In their human form, Skinwalkers are almost indistinguishable from other members of the Navajo tribe, which is what makes them particularly terrifying. They live among the tribe, often masquerading as ordinary members of the community during the day. However, there are subtle signs that may reveal their true nature. When in human form, the eyes of a Skinwalker are often described as more intense and animal-like. When light catches their eyes, they may reflect an eerie, unnatural glow similar to an animal's eyes in the dark. Some tales suggest that Skinwalkers might exhibit odd behavior or mannerisms that are not typical of their usual human personality, especially if they have recently transformed back from an animal. Speaking of their animal forms, the most common animal that Skinwalkers shapeshift into are that of predators or scavengers, such as wolves, coyotes, foxes, owls, or crows. These animals are chosen for their physical abilities, stealth, and the symbolic fear they instill. In animal form, a Skinwalker may not perfectly mimic the appearance of the animal it chooses. There can be oddities in appearance, such as a coyote standing unnaturally tall, or an owl with a disturbingly human gaze. These anomalies serve as a sinister reminder of the unnatural forces at work. Many videos and images you see online that claim to capture a Skinwalker follow these same traits, where the appearance is uncanny or just unexplainably uncomfortable. Some other stories mention Skinwalkers appearing in terrifying hybrid forms that combine human and animal features, like an upright walking wolf with elongated arms or a bear with glaringly human eyes. These forms are particularly fearsome and are meant to terrorize their victims. The transformation process itself is said to be painful and grotesque. It involves the Skinwalker bending and breaking their body into the new form, accompanied by sounds of bones snapping and flesh tearing. Despite the horror of transformation, it is often described as alarmingly quick, allowing the Skinwalker to switch forms in the blink of an eye to escape danger or to catch prey. Beyond physical transformation,
Why would this be like a punishment, though, for doing something really evil? Like you're imbuing this thing with like more power because they did something really evil.
You mean like why being a Skinwalker is punishment at all? When it's something you do on purpose. Like if
Yeah,
someone
but it's
wants
like you have to
become
do
this
something really
powerful-
bad to like access it, right? So it's like
Yeah.
why? Oh, I guess is like that's the point. Is like you're doing something really bad to access this dark witchery energy to become a Skinwalker to have more power, sort of thing.
It's like their version of making a deal with the devil, kind of a thing.
Hey,
So they can get
That
the
makes
power.
sense.
They can be this creature that can do all these things and be this magical being, but they are no longer human and they have no tribe anymore.
That makes sense.
Skinwalkers are also attributed with other supernatural powers. Voice mimicry. They can mimic any voice, a tool they use to sow discord or lure victims out into the open. However, many claim that the mimicry is not 100% perfect. If you're ever out in the woods and hear the cry of an animal that just doesn't sound right, run. Mind control. It is said they can bend the wills of humans.
The Skinwalkers and the Wendigo. If I'm saying that wrong, you guys, I'm sorry, but it's the only way I know how to say it. But you'll hear somebody asking for help. You'll hear someone go, "Help me," like that kind of thing. And they had this one guy, I saw a video. She was walking. She's in the desert. It looked like, I'm not sure where, but I mean, she was plateaus and stuff, and her and her daughter were kind of having a little road trip, and they were walking. They kind of took a little stop on the side of the road, and they're listening, and you could hear someone saying, "Help me," in the distance. And she's like, "Get in the car now," right now. But never answer a cry for help in the woods at night or in the desert if you don't see somebody. And usually they'll sound like a woman because they're more vulnerable sounding, but it's how they lure you. And I guess I'm learning there's a saying out here for the Appalachian Mountains that if you hear something in the woods, no, you didn't. If you see something in the woods, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't, actually. That's funny.
And animals, making them do the Skinwalker's bidding without their conscious consent. Curse casting. Utilizing cursed objects or substances, Skinwalkers can afflict individuals, families, or even entire communities with suffering, illness, or bad luck. In both the mind control and casting of curses, the Skinwalkers require something physical, such as hair, nails, skin, or other personal items, in order for their power to take effect. Despite their fearsome powers, Skinwalkers are not invulnerable. Navajo lore speaks of ways to protect against, and even fight back against, these dark beings. Protection through ritual. Certain traditional rituals and amulets are believed to provide protection against Skinwalkers. These often involve elements that are pure and sacred, which can act as shields against the corruption of the Skinwalkers. Identification. One of the most potent defenses against a Skinwalker is to name them while in their human form. Doing so is said to weaken them or even cause them to die. For this reason, Skinwalkers must keep their true identities a secret from the community. White ash. According to some accounts, white ash, especially from a blessed fire, is effective in deterring Skinwalkers. It can be used to create barriers or mixed with other substances to nullify a Skinwalker's powers. Each of these characteristics, the ability to transform, the power over minds, and the capacity to curse, reflects deep-seated cultural fears about the misuse of spiritual power and the consequences of moral decay. They serve as a stark reminder of what happens when sacred knowledge is twisted for personal gain. The lore of the Skinwalker is steeped in a complex web of cultural significance and taboos within Navajo society. These stories are not merely cautionary tales, but are integral to understanding the Navajo worldview and the social mechanisms that govern community interactions and spiritual beliefs. In Navajo culture, taboos are profound. They are not simply prohibitions, but are considered essential to maintaining the balance and harmony of life. The taboo against speaking about Skinwalkers, especially at night, is deeply embedded in this system. This prohibition stems from the belief that speaking about evil beings can attract their attention and potentially bring harm to oneself and one's family. This taboo also serves a broader communal purpose by maintaining a boundary around dangerous knowledge. Skinwalkers represent a perversion of sacred spiritual practices. Thus, discussing them is also a way of acknowledging and giving space to malevolent forces, which is itself considered risky behavior. The legend of the Skinwalker transcends the role of a simple story in Navajo culture. It encapsulates deep teachings about the nature of good and evil, the consequences of ethical breaches, and the complex dynamics of power. As creatures that invert the natural and social order, Skinwalkers are symbolic of what happens when sacred laws are broken. In a broader sense, they serve as a metaphor for the disruption of harmony and the chaos that ensues when societal norms are ignored. The Navajo are traditionally reluctant to share detailed knowledge of Skinwalkers with outsiders, partly to protect the sacredness of their practices and partly to prevent the misuse of powerful information. This secrecy is deeply ingrained and is reflective of the broader respect for privacy and discretion that characterizes Navajo culture. The details about how one becomes a Skinwalker, the rituals involved, and how they practice their malevolence are closely guarded, known only to those within certain circles of knowledge. This limited knowledge serves as a natural barrier, protecting the uninitiated from information that could be harmful if misunderstood or misused. It also protects the community from external judgment and the potential trivialization of their beliefs and practices in a world where indigenous narratives are often subjected to skepticism and sensationalism.
Yeah, we should never be
How
skeptical of
Skinwalker
indigenous
stories are
narratives.
told, who tells them, and the context in which they are shared are all important aspects of their transmission. Respect in storytelling involves a careful consideration of the audience, the timing, and the setting. These stories are traditionally shared among family or within close-knit community groups, often during the winter months when storytelling is traditionally practiced because the earth is considered to be asleep, and it is safer to discuss dangerous topics. The portrayal of Skinwalkers in popular media starkly contrasts with their complex and sacred role within Navajo culture, as these beings have been woven into the fabric of mainstream horror and supernatural genres. Their depiction has often strayed from the traditional narratives, impacting public perception and cultural understanding. Skinwalkers first captured the broader public's imagination through horror stories and films that sensationalize their mystical abilities and malevolent nature. This fascination grew as more people sought thrilling and exotic elements in their entertainment, often at the cost of cultural accuracy and sensitivity. As a result, skinwalkers have been featured in various forms, from villains in horror movies to mysterious entities in paranormal investigation series. These portrayals typically focus on the fear factor associated with skinwalkers, emphasizing their powers of transformation and dark magic without the contextual cultural significance that provides depth and meaning to these attributes within Navajo beliefs. Horror films often depict skinwalkers as monstrous creatures driven solely by malevolence, stripped of any ethical or cultural complexity. Books. Fantasy and horror novels may incorporate skinwalkers as characters that add a thrilling edge to the narrative, often misrepresenting the spiritual and cultural nuances.
It's fiction. It's
Television
not meant to be nonfiction.
shows dealing
it's meant
with
to be
supernatural
fiction.
themes
Let 'em have their
sometimes
fun.
introduce skinwalkers
Yeah,
as
exactly.
mysterious and dangerous
Jeez.
creatures, using them as plot devices to
I
build
agree.
suspense and intrigue. These representations can dilute the profound cultural and ethical
I
implications
think
of
this
the
is our
skinwalker
white person
legends,
apology.
reducing them to mere
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to hear this shit. We conquered you. I'm sorry. We conquered you. We conquered you. We put you on reservations. I'm sorry, but we conquered you. Okay.
I think like there's some Navajo that get very twitchy about skinwalkers because they don't want that to be spoken of, and I'm trying to remember why the sensitivity is there. I think for some of them they don't want to acknowledge that there are evil people that would do something as horrible as killing a family member to gain power, and but it's like some of them are real twitchy about it, and that's fine. I understand. I just kind of think that nobody gives a shit about insulting my spirituality, and I will just be be respectful of everybody, and I expect the same in return. So I don't want to hear any like, "Oh, you're a witch, you worship the devil" bullshit, or like pull your children away because you see I'm wearing a pentagram, or whatever. So yeah, go fuck yourself.
I totally agree. Yeah.
entertainment elements devoid of their true significance. The
No,
misrepresentation
I was once having
of
a
skinwalkers
conversation
in
with a fucking Catholic, one of the groypers, and he was upset that I was saying things that he didn't like about Christianity. And I wasn't even saying them to him. I was just saying them generally speaking, like in public. And apparently that was just a bridge too far. And he said, Karlyn, you know, a lot of us have had really deep, powerful, meaningful things happen to us related to the church. And I was like, I was in the room where you all were all shitting on my spiritual beliefs less than a week ago. Do you think I haven't had deeply powerful, like spiritual experiences that mean a lot to me? You guys shit on me all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, and so I will say whatever the fuck I want. I'm sorry. No.
Exactly. Sorry, not sorry. You don't get to call me a crazy person because I like to pay attention to the movement of the universe and the stars and possibly the energy that causes to influence our life.
Exactly.
media has several repercussions. Firstly, it often leads to a misunderstanding of Navajo beliefs and practices, portraying them as primitive or superstitious, rather than acknowledging them as part of a rich spiritual tradition. Furthermore, sensationalized media portrayals can also attract unwanted attention to Navajo communities from thrill seekers and paranormal enthusiasts who may trespass on tribal lands or disturb sacred sites in their quest to find or experience a skinwalker. This not only disrespects the privacy and traditions of the Navajo people, but can also lead to real-world
Don't
legal
be
and social
disrespectful white
conflicts.
people.
Navajo communities and cultural advocates often respond to these portrayals by reasserting the sacredness and significance of their traditions. They strive to educate the public about the real meanings and implications of their beliefs, either through direct communication, participation in cultural
skip
documentation
ahead. Is
projects,
this the rest
or
of this
through the
video going to
arts.
do this?
I don't know.
And like, I don't care now.
No, we're getting into the stories part. We're almost
Some
done. We're
members
almost
of the
done. It'll be
Navajo
fine.
community
Okay.
have taken to the media themselves to provide more accurate and respectful
No,
representations
nobody's
of
religion
their
gets to be
culture.
more special
These
than
efforts
anybody
are
else.
crucial in counteracting
Exactly.
the myths perpetuated
You are not
by
special
mainstream
mystical
media
beings,
and in
Navajo.
fostering a deeper understanding of Navajo
Well, they are,
traditions
but so are
and
we.
values.
everyone is well, they're not
The
more special
stories
than
and
anyone
personal
else.
accounts
Right.
involving
Look at that one.
skinwalkers are
That's
not only a
crazy.
testament to the enduring power of Navajo folklore, but also a profound reflection of the community's engagement with these supernatural beliefs. These narratives, often shared within the private confines of family or close community groups, offer a glimpse into the personal and communal impact of the Skinwalker legend. Personal narratives about skinwalkers vary widely, but typically include elements of mysterious encounters, unexplained phenomena, and often a deep sense of fear or awe. These stories are rarely documented formally and are most often communicated orally, maintaining the tradition of oral storytelling prevalent in Navajo culture. Due to the sensitive and secretive nature of
We got a super chat. Let's see what this has to say. Purely barging in because I just saw your video short on weight loss. This chat is simply a well done. Hopefully this wasn't too disruptive. Well, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Oh,
I
that's
appreciate
nice.
that. I appreciate that. Can I tell you, like, I do appreciate all the compliments people give me. I am so fucking sick of hearing about my weight. I am so, and again, I do appreciate the super chat. It's very nice. I really I appreciate all the nice things people say. I am so fucking sick of hearing about my weight. I'm so sick of it. And I'm so sick of these jealous bitches on Twitter. They're like, you're on Ozempic. And it's like, I bet you if I saw you, you are just jealous that I lost weight and you didn't. So now you have to demean me and you have to make yourself feel good and all that stuff. It's just like, man, can we just talk about something else? It's not fair.
But it is, I mean, it's good to share, triumphs. And I'm glad you did. I'm glad you triumphed. I'm glad you're sharing your success.
It is fun and throwing it in people's face, though. It really is. I'm calling everyone fat now. I don't give a fuck. I didn't think I was going to become that person, but no, I have, because you know what it was? It was like the rush of basically giving everyone a giant middle finger who didn't think that I could who didn't think that I could lose weight whenever the fuck I wanted to lose weight, giving everyone that it just it started to internalize. And now I'm just like, oh, you guys want to accuse me of being on Ozempic all the time? Fuck you. Fuck you, fatties. Fuck you. No offense for people who need to lose weight. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who are dicks on the internet and then expect me to coddle their feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the Ozempic thing scares me a little bit, but I mean, it sounds like it's a horrible thing for bodies. But
I don't know.
People. I don't know if they can get off it. Like, can they just quit it and then do they gain their weight back? Like, what happens when you're done with it?
I know a bunch of people who are on it, and I've heard all sorts. What I've heard from people is that they find it to be like a miracle, and that it really helps them. And I have heard of people getting off of it. They basically just wean themselves off, because it makes sense, right? It's like if you're on it, you're basically forcing yourself to develop new habits. It's not like you aren't developing the new habits. It's like you again. I'm being explained to this by other people. I willpowered my way into this shit, but you're being put in a position where you literally can't eat like you ate before.
Yeah.
And so it takes away all kind of the stress around that. And so you're kind of forced into developing new habits. And so it's can people get off of it? I mean, I know people who have, and they just kind of wean themselves off of it after a year and a half. And they're yeah, it was pretty fucking awesome. So I don't know. I know that a lot of people are saying it's bad. I kind of regret not doing it, if I'm being honest about it, because I feel like it could have been probably a lot less painful than what it was. But
it's just really hard on your body. It ruins your intestines and your filter organs, and there's a natural version of it that's not as potent but does the same job. It might take a little longer. And I had a friend who was she was doing it because she's like, I can't even exercise because I'm so uncomfortable. And so she's like, I want to get a jump start, and then I can get into my, the exercising. I was like, that's a really great idea.
And I guess what I'm saying is Ozempic is a very specific thing, but I guess there are all these other varieties of these things that are not Ozempic. And I think most of the people I've talked to are not on Ozempic proper, but they're on some form of
something,
thing.
some sort of whatever they're called. Yeah. And I've had friends that had their stomach slap banded and all that stuff, and they could only eat 2 tablespoons at a time. And all of that.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it's that scares me. I'm like, ooh, I don't know, because I worry about malnutrition. And and some of them, one of them in particular went to the hospital over and over again for dehydration because she just couldn't drink enough water. because her little tummy would fill up so much. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. What do
That's
we
crazy.
do to our bodies because we just don't have the willpower? You know, it's kind of sad, but
also,
we do need help sometimes.
Like, people talk about the side effects of like all this stuff, but like, what are the side effects of being like overweight? Because I don't know, man. Like, I feel like my back is so much better. I have so much less pain in my body. I'm sure that like I have fixed problems I don't even know about, honestly. And it's
not
like,
to mention how good it is for your heart too, and your and people who have diabetes can lose the diabetes because now they're a healthy weight. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I don't know. I think everyone has to make choices about what they do. I just like wish people weren't being shamed for the choices they make.
Yeah.
You know, especially it's like, again, like I've talked to so many people who are like, this is a miracle drug and I'm really glad I did this. And I feel like those stories are kind of like drowned out by all of these people saying it's bad and you're literally going to die. Well, you might literally die if you're like really overweight too. So, you know, which like,
true.
You know,
that's true. Well, and everything heals. I mean, I haven't really looked into it. What I would be concerned about is if it's something that you can reverse or not. Like, what is it, a permanent damage or is it temporary damage? And if you already have problems with those things and then you take a drug that enhances those problems, that's going to hurt you. You know, that could be fatal. But I mean, so far, half of Hollywood has lost about 3 million tons. So who knows? Maybe like if they
seem to be fine.
Yeah, they also have
maybe
money
too
enough to get
thin,
all the doctors.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them are getting spooky thin. That needs to stop.
Skinwalker stories, many are shared anonymously or with significant details omitted to protect the identities of those involved. This anonymity is crucial, as it helps prevent potential backlash or fear of retribution, both from within and outside the community. In recent years, many Skinwalker stories and videos have been made available on video sharing platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, and TikTok. Many stories involve encounters on secluded roads or near the boundaries of the reservation, where the natural and supernatural worlds are said to intersect more freely. While many videos show people or animals acting very strange, as if they were possessed, whispering or even screaming in the distance. Another common theme is the Skinwalker's ability to mimic the voices of known persons or animals, a tactic used to lure the unsuspecting into dangerous situations. Also, narratives often describe the physical symptoms that accompany a Skinwalker's presence, such as overwhelming dread, cold chills, or even temporary paralysis. These personal narratives do more than entertain. They reinforce communal norms and the cultural understanding of supernatural elements within Navajo life. They serve as modern-day parables, warning against certain places or behaviors and reinforcing the vigilance against malevolent forces. Moreover, they contribute to a shared cultural identity that values the unseen and respects the powers that govern the natural and spiritual worlds. But they also provide entertainment to those who seek mystery and the paranormal and can be completely made up just for the art of storytelling. As we conclude our exploration of the Skinwalkers, we've delved into their dark origins, mysterious powers, and the profound cultural significance these beings hold within Navajo folklore. We've uncovered not just tales of terror, but also lessons about the balance between good and evil, and the consequences of misusing power. These stories serve as a reminder of the delicate harmony between the spiritual and physical worlds. Remember, the legend of the Skinwalker is more than a simple ghost story. It is a part of a living culture that deserves respect and understanding. As we venture into the realm of the unknown, let these tales enlighten us about the deeper meanings of fear and caution embedded in the Navajo folklore. So the next time you find yourself in a forest or a secluded home, pause for a moment. Listen to the wind in the trees, the rustle of the leaves, the howl of a wolf, and ask yourself, what mysteries might these lands hold? Are these just legends, or could they be something more? Thank you all for watching all the way to the end.
Yay, Skinwalkers.
Cool. All right, next we have Wendigo, flesh-eating monster of the forest.
Ooh, yeah,
this
these
sounds
are worse.
Really good.
These are we thought if you think Skinwalkers are bad, these guys are really, really bad.
So like cannibals.
Well, yeah, they are, and it's more of like it's a spiritual sickness that overtakes you, instead of a choice, and it can be contagious. So you don't even want to be
like
near
the flu?
them. Yes, like the flu, but turning into a horrible critter that has an insatiable need to eat and is never satisfied or comfortable. It's always hungry.
Ugh, that sounds
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The legend of the Wendigo is deeply rooted in the cultural and environmental context of the Algonquin-speaking tribes who inhabited the vast, untamed forests and rugged wilderness of the northern regions of what is now Canada and the United States.
Uh-oh, Mizakan.
These lands, known for their harsh and unforgiving winters, were both a place of life and a source of constant struggle for survival.
Mizakan exposed.
The Wendigo emerged as a powerful symbol of the fears, challenges, and moral dilemmas faced by these indigenous communities, particularly in times of extreme hardship. For the Algonquin people, the land was both a provider and a threat. The forests were rich with wildlife, offering game for hunting.
I think he is actually
while the lakes and rivers provided fish
isn't
and
Mizakan
water.
actually like indigenous
However,
too in
the
Canada?
winters were long
I think so.
and
Yeah.
severe, often lasting 6
First
months or
Nation.
more, with
Mizakan
temperatures plunging far
exposed.
below freezing.
Flesh-eating monster. It's
Snow
over.
could cover the ground for months on end, making hunting and gathering food a perilous and often unsuccessful endeavor. During these harsh winters, the Algonquin people had to rely on their skills, knowledge of the land, and communal bonds to survive. Food shortages were common, and starvation was a
Canadian
constant
Wendigo.
threat. It was in this context
Oh,
of
here he is.
scarcity and
He's here.
survival that the Wendigo legend was born. A tale
Hello.
that embodied the consequences
Hello.
of desperation and the breakdown of social and moral order. This is the story of
Do you judge me, Mizakan, for talking about conquering the native people and relegating them to reservation? He's fine. He's Canadian. He's fine.
the Wendigo, explained. At the heart of the Wendigo legend is a profound moral dilemma. What happens when the basic instinct for survival drives individuals to commit acts that are considered taboo or abhorrent? In the case of the Wendigo, this dilemma centers around the act of cannibalism, which was one of the gravest taboos in Algonquin
Yeah, he says
culture.
the same thing.
The Algonquin people, like many indigenous cultures, had strict social and moral codes that guided their behavior. These codes were essential for maintaining order and ensuring the survival of the community as a whole. Cannibalism was seen not only as a violation of these codes, but as a fundamental betrayal of one's humanity.
I love it. Cannibalism was frowned upon based on the moral codes of the indigenous. It's like, yeah, well, the moral codes of most people, actually.
Yeah. Don't go to South America though. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah.
There's some people there that
The Wendigo legend served as a powerful warning against
Ooh, look
succumbing
at
to
that.
such desperate measures.
yeah, they're pretty awful looking.
According to the legend, the moment a person commits cannibalism, they open themselves up to the Wendigo spirit. This malevolent entity, which is said to dwell in the darkest corners of the wilderness, is drawn to the act of cannibalism like a moth to a flame. Once it senses the violation, it latches onto the individual, slowly taking control of their mind, body, and soul. The Wendigo spirit begins to corrupt the person from within, feeding on their fear, guilt, and despair until they are no longer recognizable as human. This curse is insidious and soul-devouring, preying on the desperate and the damned. It strips away humanity layer by layer, replacing it with an all-consuming hunger and a monstrous, insatiable need for human flesh. This curse, deeply rooted in the beliefs of the Algonquin-speaking tribes, is as much a spiritual possession as it is a physical metamorphosis. Understanding the curse of the Wendigo means delving into the dark depths of despair, madness, and the loss of self. The transformation into a Wendigo was not just a physical metamorphosis, but a spiritual corruption. Once possessed, the individual would undergo a horrifying change, both in body and...
what happens after they die then? If it's just like grounded in like spiritual corruption, do they have to go to like I don't know, like purgatory or whatever to work out their shit before they're allowed to like.
Oh, purgatory is such a white person concept. No, they didn't. They didn't have that. Native Americans don't have like. I don't think they do.
So what happens to them then?
Well, you just become part of nature. You become, your spirit goes into nature. But there's not like a heaven or hell kind of thing. You just go into the afterlife, sort of maybe more like the Elysian fields in Roman mythology. Something
but
like
how? But like, if they're totally spiritually corrupted to the core, like nothing.
It
really
may not exist then. Yeah, maybe if one of these things, if a Wendigo dies, maybe they become just nothing at that point.
Huh.
In mind, their body would become emaciated and gaunt, reflecting their eternal state of starvation. The transformation into a Wendigo is not an instantaneous event, but a gradual and agonizing descent into madness. The process begins with an overwhelming sense of guilt and fear. The individual who has committed cannibalism begins to experience intense cravings for more human flesh, cravings that grow stronger with each passing day. At first, they may try to resist these urges, clinging to the remnants of their humanity, but the hunger soon becomes unbearable. As the cravings intensify, the individual's thoughts and desires begin to warp. They become obsessed with the idea of feeding, their mind consumed by the need to satisfy the hunger that gnaws at them day and night. This obsession drives them to isolate themselves from others, retreating into the wilderness where the Wendigo spirit can take full control. The person becomes increasingly paranoid, believing that others are watching them, judging them, or plotting against them. This paranoia is a manifestation of the Wendigo spirit's influence, as it seeks to sever the individual's ties to their community and weaken their resistance. The Wendigo spirit also preys on the individual's deepest fears and insecurities, amplifying them until they become all-encompassing. The person begins to hear voices, often those of the people they have consumed, whispering accusations and curses.
Yo!
These voices are relentless.
That would be intense. You're constantly hearing the voices of the people you've consumed, and they're constantly cursing. This is basically schizophrenia.
It's a nice way to make friends.
Yeah.
You know, if you're lonely and you need someone to talk to, just eat them. And they'll always be there.
Great idea. Excellent.
I think
driving the individual further into madness. The Wendigo spirit feeds on this madness, using it to strengthen its hold on the person's soul. As the Wendigo spirit takes control, the individual begins to lose their sense of self. Their memories, emotions, and personality are slowly eroded, replaced by the Wendigo's primal instincts. They forget who they were, who they loved, and what they valued. All that remains is the hunger. This loss of identity is not just a loss of memory, it is a spiritual death. The person's soul is consumed by the Wendigo spirit, leaving behind an empty shell that exists only to feed. The Wendigo is not just a transformation, it is a possession, a complete takeover of the mind, body, and soul. This spiritual death is what makes the Wendigo curse so horrifying. It is not just a physical transformation into a monster, but the total annihilation of the self. The Wendigo is, in essence, a living embodiment of the consequences of losing one's humanity to base instincts and primal fears. The Wendigo curse is also believed to be contagious in a spiritual sense. Those who come into close contact with a Wendigo, whether by hearing its mournful wail, encountering it in the forest, or surviving an attack, are at risk of being influenced by the curse. They may begin to experience nightmares, hallucinations, or an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the Wendigo is always nearby, waiting to strike. This contagion is not a direct transformation into a Wendigo, but a spiritual and psychological infection. The person becomes haunted by the Wendigo's presence, their thoughts consumed by the fear of becoming like it. This fear can drive them to madness, leading them to act irrationally or violently as they struggle to resist the influence of the curse. In some cases, the curse may manifest in the form of visions
question
or
Native
dreams,
Americans.
where the
Okay, go ahead.
Why are we so this confused me a little bit. Like the Wendigo like Enderful, once it's fully transformed, it takes on more of an elk-like appearance. It's like a humanoid elk kind of.
That's bizarre.
Which I don't understand, because that they don't eat people. I mean, literally, if this is a cannibalistic thing, why would they not? I'm surprised they don't turn into like a bear or a wolf, but no, it's an herbivore. And it confuses me. I don't understand. But I wonder then, and my brain started with, well, has anybody ever seen a diseased elk or deer when they have like wasting disease? And how they're kind of crazed and their fur is not great, and they're salivating, and they will attack you. And so I'm wondering if maybe that's how they came up with the elk imagery for it. I don't know. Just wondering. I don't know. Does anybody know?
Good question. Probably all reptilians.
Yes.
Probably what's going on.
Yes.
Individual sees themselves as a Wendigo, feeding on the flesh of their loved ones. These visions are a manifestation of the Wendigo spirit's influence, as it seeks to weaken the individual's resistance and push them toward the act of cannibalism, which would seal their fate. Once the transformation into a Wendigo is complete, there is little hope of reversing the curse. The individual is lost, their soul consumed by the Wendigo spirit, and their body transformed into a monstrous being. The Wendigo's appearance is a grotesque manifestation of the monstrous and insatiable hunger it represents. Over centuries, the image of the Wendigo has evolved and been shaped by various tribes, storytellers, and cultural influences, but certain features remain consistent across the many versions of the legend. As the psychological transformation progresses, the Wendigo curse begins to manifest physically. The individual's body starts to change, reflecting the spiritual corruption that has taken root within them. The Wendigo is often described as being extraordinarily tall, towering over any human, with some accounts suggesting it could be as much as 15 feet in height. Despite its imposing size, the Wendigo is unnervingly thin and gaunt, its body appearing skeletal and emaciated. Its skin is stretched so tightly over its bones that it appears almost translucent, clinging to the contours of its skeletal structure. The ribs and bones are often visible beneath the skin, giving the creature the appearance of someone who has been starved for a long period, reflecting its eternal state of hunger. This skeletal frame is not just a physical feature, it symbolizes the Wendigo's perpetual starvation. No matter how much it consumes, the Wendigo remains forever emaciated, a stark representation of its insatiable appetite. This appearance serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of succumbing to the darkest instincts, where no amount of consumption can ever satisfy the hunger born from greed and cannibalism. The Wendigo's skin is another aspect of its terrifying appearance. In most depictions, the skin is described as having a sickly, ashen gray, or deathly pale color, resembling that of a decaying corpse. Dry, cracked, and peeling in places, with patches of rotting flesh. This decay is a visual manifestation of the Wendigo's corrupted and unnatural existence. It represents the creature's distance from life and the living.
I swear this AI stuff is so extra.
Passed into a state of undeath.
Yeah.
A being caught between life and death.
Yeah.
Forever decaying, yet never dying.
It could be way worse than this.
Some versions of the legend describe the Wendigo as having patches of fur or matted hair.
Go ahead.
I got sucked into, it was actually an advertisement, but it was a book excerpt. And I may have to find these books and read them. It was about, it was a werewolf romance thing. And there was a girl who goes to a school to be trained to be selected by one of the 4 werewolf kings or whatever. Anyway, it's like a girls' school, basically their own personal selection of for wives. And it's a little creepy when you break it down. But the point is it started playing and it was animated by AI, but I could not tell sometimes. Like I was sitting there going, wait, is this? No, they actually got actors for this. This is really, wow, they put some effort into it. No. And I'm like, no, this has to be AI because of some of the other imagery in it. And it's getting to the point where you can't tell the difference. Like even the texture on the skin is perfect. The wrinkles in the hands, the knuckles. it's getting so accurate that it's super spooky. And normally you can tell because the movement is still really fluid and it's unnatural. But I mean, some of the animation in this was next level beautiful. Like it looked like real people. And I'm still wondering if some of it was real people and some of it was AI, because it was stunning. But anyway.
Well, honestly, it's kind of like AI is only going to get better.
Yeah.
AI is literally only going to get better. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Imagine the possibilities opened up to amateur filmmakers.
Yup.
Hair. These patches are often sparse and uneven, further emphasizing the creature's unnatural and monstrous form. In certain modern interpretations, the Wendigo is depicted with long, stringy hair, often hanging in dirty, tangled strands that only add to its eerie, unkempt appearance. The Wendigo's face is perhaps the most terrifying aspect of its appearance. Its eyes are described as sunken deep into their sockets, giving them a hollow, haunting look. Despite being sunken, the Wendigo's eyes are said to glow with an unnatural light, often described as a fiery or icy blue, depending on the interpretation. This eerie glow is not just a physical feature, but a symbol of the Wendigo's supernatural nature and its connection to the spirit world. The face of the Wendigo is often depicted as gaunt and elongated, with features that are distorted and exaggerated, making it look more like a skull than a living creature. The cheeks are hollow, the nose is sharp and pointed, and the lips are either shriveled or entirely missing. The Wendigo's voice is often described as a mournful wail or a raspy, breathy whisper, a sound that is both terrifying and sorrowful. This voice is said to carry on the wind, echoing through the forest and striking fear into the hearts of those who hear it. The Wendigo's hands are elongated and bony, ending in sharp, claw-like fingers. These claws are not just for show, they are the Wendigo's primary tools for hunting and killing its prey. The claws are described as being long and razor-sharp, capable of slicing through flesh with ease. The Wendigo uses these claws to tear apart its victims, often dismembering them in a frenzy of bloodlust and hunger. The Wendigo's teeth, unlike the teeth of a human, are pointed and serrated, more akin to the fangs of a predator. These teeth are perfectly suited for their purpose, ripping through flesh and bone. The Wendigo's mouth is often described as being disproportionately large, capable of opening wide enough to consume large chunks of flesh in a single
all these
bite.
images? Yeah, it's a good idea.
This exaggerated mouth serves as a symbol of the Wendigo's insatiable hunger and its endless craving for human flesh. This physiology makes the Wendigo a master of its territory, ensuring that few can escape once they have entered its realm.
There is no escape
In addition
from
to
the
this
Wendigo.
fear-inducing presence, the Wendigo possesses immense strength and speed, far beyond that of any human. Despite its gaunt and skeletal appearance, it is capable of tearing apart its prey with ease.
That looks like a
The
rat.
Wendigo's agility allows it to move swiftly and silently through the forest, often stalking its victims for long periods before striking. This stealth, combined with its ability to blend into the winter...
What we should be learning tonight is don't go out into the fucking woods at night, especially, but maybe just stay out of the woods in general. Like, I mean, you can go in every once in a while, but like, just stay the fuck out of the woods, okay?
I can't though. I'm in the woods.
You're in the woods. See, I'm on the. I have woods around me, but I am not in the woods.
I love. Well, I guess. Yeah. I mean, technically the park is cleared, but there's trees. But the woods are right in the periphery. And I love going into the forest. It's one of my favorite things. I've always loved that since I was a little kid. But of course, it was the pine forest of the Rockies. This is a whole new world for me. It's a whole new world of enchantment, and I love it. I love to go out in nature. So that's why I'm really mad at ticks and stuff, because those things need to, like, why are they here, nature? Why do
I
we have
remember
ticks?
when I was a kid, and like me and my brother and like other kids that lived in the neighborhood, we would go, like, I lived in a really rural town, and so like we would go down like a couple of streets, and like at the end of the street you get to the path that goes into the woods. And then if you walked about like, 10 minutes up that path, there was a little path that was off to the side that really you would only see if you knew about, that led down to some fucking creek where we went swimming in. It was like a water hole in the middle of the fucking woods. And I've thought about this so much, and I'm like, what the fuck were we thinking? I'm like, why was this again? Like they were like giant ass rocks. This is not like any sort of maintained property. It's just like a fucking hole of water in the middle of the woods with rocks all around it in the middle of the trees. And it's like you've got these kids running around, jumping off the rocks into the water and doing all this crazy shit. I'm like, and it's like the ground is like muddy and all that. I'm like, what the fuck were we thinking? That was a horrible idea. Like on 19 different levels, that was a horrible idea.
A little proper swimming hole there.
Yeah, a swimming hole. Are kids even allowed to do that anymore? Do parents even let kids go off and wander into the woods to find a swimming hole?
I don't. I imagine that a lot of people in these parts probably do. As long as, because everybody kind of grows up a little. Like, I think when you're kids, you're more adventurous. You're more trusting of your environment. You feel immortal, and the parents worry. But I think there's probably, the families here seem like they're pretty based, that they would let their kids go play out in the woods and stuff. But especially if they're super rural, I don't know that you could stop them. But we made, poor choices. I used to go out in the woods all the time because we did live in Georgia for like a year and a half, and we would go into those woods and catch crawdads and tadpoles and stuff. And now it's like, I can't believe I actually would go catch a crawdad, and like, it didn't bother me. Like, I don't know if I could hold a crawdad now. I just don't know that I could do it.
I don't know if I could even just go into like the water in the middle of the woods. So I'm like, this is actually gross. This is actually gross. There's like tetanus in here. Like, I don't like, can I just go to some nicely maintained lake or something where people have set up like a water slide or something, and you can get a paddle boat, and like maybe there's like a raft out that you have to swim out to, but like there's a whole like beach of people, and it's like really nice. Like, it's like my standards have improved, I think, since I was 10.
Swimming in all the fish poop is getting to you now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Landscape makes the Wendigo an almost invisible predator. The Wendigo is also believed to have a connection to the cold and the elements of winter. It can manipulate the weather, calling forth blizzards or freezing winds to disorient and trap its prey. Some legends suggest that the Wendigo can travel on the wind itself, moving from one place to another with terrifying speed, making it nearly impossible to escape once it has set its sights on someone. Another power attributed to the Wendigo is its ability to mimic human voices. This ability allows the creature to lure unsuspecting victims into its grasp by calling out in the voice of a loved one or someone in distress. Those who follow the sound often find themselves lost in the woods, only to be confronted by the Wendigo, who reveals its true nature too late for them to escape. In some variations of the legend, particularly in more modern interpretations, the Wendigo is depicted with antlers or horns, adding to its beastly and supernatural appearance. These antlers are often large and twisted, resembling those of a stag, but far more menacing. In addition, the Wendigo is said to emit a foul odor, a mix of decay, rot, and death. This smell is so powerful that it can be detected from a great distance, often serving as a warning sign of the creature's presence.
Yep.
The stench of the Wendigo is not just a physical attribute, but a symbol of its corrupted and unnatural state. It is a reminder that the Wendigo is a creature of death, a being that thrives on the consumption of the living. The smell is often described as being so intense that it can cause nausea or even incapacitate those who are exposed to it for too long. The stench clings to the Wendigo's skin and fur, a constant reminder of the countless lives it has taken and the bodies it has consumed. Hey everyone, just a quick intermission here. I wanted to say thank you for watching this video.
No ads,
the Wendigo
sorry.
is not invincible.
Ooh,
There are ways to combat and even defeat this fearsome creature, though these methods are known to
Probably good
few
advice. How do you
and are
kill the
fraught
Wendigo?
with danger.
Yeah.
One of the Wendigo's
With
primary
fire.
weaknesses is fire.
With fire.
As a creature
Yes, kill
associated
it
with
with
the cold
fire.
and desolation of winter, the Wendigo is highly vulnerable to flames. Fire is believed to be one of the few ways to kill a Wendigo. reducing its emaciated body to ashes and preventing it from regenerating or returning to life. In some traditions, burning the Wendigo's heart or head is specifically required to ensure that it is truly destroyed. Another method of weakening or driving away the Wendigo is through the use of certain traditional rituals and spiritual practices. Some Algonquin shamans were believed to have the knowledge and power to combat the Wendigo spirit, either by performing exorcisms to free a person from the Wendigo's curse, or by using sacred objects and chants to banish the creature from a particular area. These rituals were often dangerous and required a deep understanding of the spiritual world, as well as a strong connection to the protective spirits of the land. In addition to these spiritual defenses, some legends suggest that the Wendigo can be harmed or deterred by weapons made from silver or blessed by a shaman.
It's always silver.
The
that
purity and spiritual significance of such objects make them effective against
Why
a
is it
creature.
always like a silver that you can use as like a weapon?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I actually was going to look that up for another project, and I never ended up doing it. But it's always silver that will protect you from evil or can encase an evil spirit or a fairy or something. But silver, it's or iron. Iron is another one that's pretty universal. Silver bullets for the werewolves and or iron to protect you from fae. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a universal thing that since the thing itself is very strong, it's viewed as protective. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Embodies corruption and unnatural hunger. Some versions of the legend suggest that the bond of community and the strength of familial ties might help a person resist the transformation if the symptoms are caught early. The afflicted individual could be surrounded by loved ones who provide care, warmth, and human connection, which might delay or even prevent the full transformation into a Wendigo. The goal would be to cleanse the person of the evil spirit before it fully takes over. Success in such rituals would be rare and not guaranteed. Finally, the Wendigo's curse itself can be seen as a weakness. The curse is not just a transformation into a monstrous being, but also a form of eternal punishment. The Wendigo's insatiable
I've got a
hunger
little
is
something
both
here on
its
that.
greatest strength
All right.
and its
What's up?
It says, let's see. Sorry, I have to look around my camera here. Silver's universal reputation as a protective agent stems from its real-world antimicrobial properties. I cannot read or talk tonight. And its historic association with the moon. Because it naturally kills microbes.
Ew.
Yeah,
The moon.
Because it naturally kills microbes, it was long used to preserve food and water. Combined with its reflective purity, these factors inspired legends that it wards off curses, evil, and supernatural beings. Ooh. Now you know.
greatest torment. It is forever doomed to starvation, never able to satisfy its cravings no matter how much it consumes. This eternal hunger
being
drives the
hungry
Wendigo
all
to
the
madness.
Yeah,
making
no
the
thanks.
creature
There
feel
is a real
instinct
disease,
rather than reason,
it's a real mental
can-
disorder that people have, and I saw it it was like one of those, like My 600-Pound Life, but it was the UK version, and
Yeah.
this one kid has that, and he's just always hungry. So for him, he's like, I can't diet, I'm just starving all the time, and it's like the brain never recognizes that the stomach is full. You never feel satisfied. And it's
That
just
kid needs to go on a GLP-1. That
Yeah.
is like a GLP-1 use case right there.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna make it physically impossible for you to actually experience this.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. I can imagine just feeling burning hunger all the time. That would be just absolute torture.
That would be insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes be exploited by those who know its nature. The Wendigo legend is deeply woven into the fabric of Algonquin culture, where it serves as both a cautionary tale and a profound symbol of the dangers that can arise in times of extreme hardship. For the Algonquin-speaking peoples, who lived in close connection with the natural world, the Wendigo was not just a terrifying monster, but a representation of moral and spiritual decay, a warning of the dire consequences that could result from greed, isolation, and the breakdown of social bonds. The Algonquin-speaking tribes, including the Ojibwe, Cree, and Innu, among others, inhabited the vast regions of the Great Lakes, the boreal forests, and the northern plains. These lands, while rich in resources, were also harsh and unforgiving, particularly during the long winters. Survival in these environments required not only physical endurance, but also strong social cohesion and cooperation within the community. In Algonquin culture, the community was central to survival. The sharing of resources, communal hunting, and mutual support were essential practices that ensured the well-being of all members. The winter months, however, posed significant challenges. Food could become scarce, and the relentless cold made even the most routine activities dangerous. In these conditions, the bonds of community were tested, and the temptation to act out of self-interest, even at the expense of others, could arise. The Wendigo legend emerged as a powerful moral lesson within this context. It served as a stark reminder of what could happen when individuals allowed their desperation or greed to override the needs of the community. The Wendigo was a manifestation of the ultimate transgression, cannibalism, which not only violated social and moral norms, but also represented a complete abandonment of one's humanity. Parents would tell their children
I mean,
tales
is this though is like, this is one of those things where it's like, you're building up some sort of myth to explain how evil an act like cannibalism is. And it's like, it's so evil that if you ever dared commit this act, here's what's going to happen to you. You're going to turn into a starvation demon that for the rest of your existence, you are going to be possessed by something that makes you want to eat constantly. And is that really worth it?
And eat other humans constantly. I can't imagine that it would be that much of a temptation to eat other people, that they would need to come up with this.
I know. Well, it's like what caused this myth to be created? Like, it's obviously like, I'm not saying I think that the Wendigo is a real, I mean, like, maybe you can convince me that Skinwalkers on some level are real, but I don't think like in the Native American myth sense, but like something caused this to be created. Like something happened on some Algonquin land somewhere where they were like, you know what it's like? It's like that movie, what is that M. Night Shyamalan movie? Like The Village.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like where they had to create this whole myth of this evil monster to keep people from leaving the village because they were, you know, pulling a fast one on everyone and people didn't know. And so it's like what the fuck caused this to be created? Like, what did someone do?
I don't know. I wonder if it was somebody was killed by a diseased elk. And they're trying to understand why that happened. Like, why would nature do that? Like, what's wrong with this elk? And it turned into a thing over time, you know, that, oh, that must have been a man who ate people. And now he is cursed to haunt the woods eating people as an elk.
Oh, Musican says it's not about cannibalism. It's about being greedy. Wendigo equals greedy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. Well, that's kind of what they were just saying, too. So, yeah, that it's about giving into all of your gluttony essentially and greed, but still cannibalism is its main trigger. So like, interesting.
I was just thinking about like you have no idea how many people are in my comments on a daily basis just like making shit up that is completely unhinged from reality. And it's like, I think about these people that are in my comments all the time, just like, and they're sure that what they're saying is true, but it's just like, it's really not true at all. They made it up. They heard something from someone. They interpreted something. Sometimes they just literally invent stories out of nowhere. And they think that they're providing some profound explanation for something. And I think about that stuff a lot when we watch stuff like this, because I'm like, what caused them to do that? Like, what influenced them in the direction where we are now just like completely making shit up that has nothing to do with reality, but something inspired that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, but it could have been multiple factors. But you also understand, like, myths develop over time. One dude says something, and then it keeps going down the line and generationally turns into a whole story, you know?
That's why you literally can't believe anything anyone says. Like, no, like you really can't. It's just like, and so often I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna let you think that. I just don't. I can't.
I don't have time for your foolishness.
I can't. Whatever. Fine. You want to be ridiculous? Fine. I don't give a fuck.
The Wendigo to instill in them the values of generosity, selflessness, and respect for the natural world. The Wendigo legend also reflects the Algonquin concept of balance, particularly the balance between the human world and the natural world. In Algonquin beliefs, the natural world was seen as a living entity with its own spirits and forces that needed to be respected and honored. The Wendigo, with its endless hunger and destructive nature, represented a disruption of this balance, a force that threatened to consume everything in its path. The Wendigo also represented the balance between life and death. In Algonquin beliefs, death was a natural part of the cycle of life, and the spirits of the dead were honored and respected. However, the Wendigo was a perversion of this natural cycle, a creature that existed in a state of living death, neither fully alive nor fully dead. Its endless hunger and decaying body were signs of its unnatural state, a reminder of the importance of living in harmony with the natural order and respecting the cycles of life and death. The Wendigo legend has persisted through the centuries, evolving and adapting to the times. While originally rooted in the oral traditions of the Algonquin tribes, the Wendigo has since entered popular culture, appearing in literature, movies, and television. These modern interpretations often emphasize the horror aspects of the creature, focusing on its terrifying appearance and insatiable hunger. In literature, one of the most famous depictions of the Wendigo comes from Algernon Blackwood's 1910 novella, The Wendigo, which helped to popularize the creature in Western culture. In this story, the Wendigo is a force of nature, a malevolent entity that drives men to madness in the remote wilderness. This portrayal cemented the Wendigo's status as a symbol of the untamed, dangerous aspects of nature and the darkness within the human soul. The Wendigo has also become a figure in horror films and television shows, where it is often portrayed as a terrifying monster stalking its prey in the woods. These adaptations sometimes take creative liberties with the legend, adding elements such as shape-shifting abilities or giving the Wendigo a more beastly appearance, but the core themes of hunger, madness, and the loss of humanity remain. Despite its transformation into a pop culture icon, the Wendigo remains a powerful and enduring symbol in the cultures from which it originated. For many indigenous communities, the Wendigo is not just a creature of myth, but a representation of real and profound fears of starvation, isolation, and the loss of humanity. It also serves as a reminder of the importance of maintaining a strong sense of community and the dangers of succumbing to selfishness and greed. The Wendigo legend continues to be told and retold, both in its original cultural context and in new forms that reflect the concerns and anxieties of the modern world. Whether seen as a supernatural monster, a cautionary tale, or a metaphor for human behavior, the Wendigo's story resonates with audiences across time and cultures, ensuring that this terrifying creature will continue to haunt our imaginations for generations to come.
All right. Wendigo. 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 I'm gonna remember that one, Jennifer.
Yeah.
That's one that's gonna fester. I feel like there should be more horror movies based on that concept. I feel like there's been a missed opportunity there.
There is
the
one
Indian cannibal demon.
Yeah, there's one called The Ritual, where these
I
poor
have
guys,
seen The Ritual.
yeah, when they go hiking and they get sacrificed to a giant Wendigo at the end by the cult.
Oh, I might be thinking of a different one, but I think I know which movie you're talking about. I want to watch that.
It's a
good.
decent film. It was an indie film, and it was one of those surprise hits that the people weren't sure because it's not back. I don't think it was backed by a major studio. Could be wrong, but yeah. So that one, I kept thinking about it because I was like, what the hell is this thing? Oh my god, that's horrific. But yeah, Wendigo.
Huh? I'm gonna look that up. All right, we got one more to watch tonight, and it is The Jersey Devil, America's most terrifying cryptid. What is this about, Jennifer?
So the Jersey Devil is a critter in that came into the American mind around the 1500s.
1500s.
When was
No shit.
no? That could be way far back. 15 or 1600s.
That sounds early, to be honest.
It's like Roanoke time period. So it's like
in Virginia.
Yeah, it's like pre-Revolutionary War. I think I could be way the fuck off, but it feels like it was pre-Revolutionary War, but I could be wrong. But I don't know, Bot. I don't know. They'll probably tell us in this, so probably then they can correct me. But so it's a critter that just wreaks havoc. It eats chickens. It hurts people. It leaves it's a little cloven hoofed like goat baby man with wings and red eyes, and it's
fuck you, Mies again. Fuck you. The Wendigo represents capitalism because it is about individualism and self-interest above the collective.
Okay.
Everything is socialist. Everything is socialist. Everything.
Oh my god! How do you guys even enjoy anything anymore? You're just constantly looking for the keywords.
No, you have no idea. Like like socialism consumes your life after a while, and then you literally can't see anything else, and you become obsessed with it because you don't know what's around the next corner. You just don't know. You don't know what you're going to hear on any given day. You could be watching the most boring presentation in the world, and then all of a sudden, like, they come out with some of the craziest shit that you've ever heard in your life about, like, cloning children to get rid of parental rights or something. You're like, it's better than watching. I love horror movies. Like, I've always loved horror movies. Horror movies have been my thing since I was a kid, right? Socialism is like a real life horror movie where you literally never know what it's going to find. And it's kind of boring sometimes. It's like the Blair Witch Project. Like, the first, 90% of the Blair Witch Project pretty much sucked. The only good part of the Blair Witch Project was like the last 5 minutes, basically. That's what it's like most of the time, except the last 5 minutes of the Blair Witch Project can happen at any time in any socialist presentation, and you just never know. And like, it's like genuinely horrifying sometimes, where like we were watching this presentation. I got a clip of this. You're gonna fucking die over this. We were watching a presentation today with this tranny who was like, you think you see a man in a dress and wearing nail polish in a woman's space, but what you don't know is you're actually looking at a beautiful woman that's waiting to come out and just needs to be in the woman's space. So you think you're looking at a man, but in fact, you are looking at a beautiful woman that has yet to...
Gross. You think you're looking at a man.
At the very end of the presentation, it was just so fucking funny.
Is that the affirmation they say to themselves in the mirror in the morning? Like,
it's not a man in a dress. It's not a man in a dress in a woman's space when he damn well shouldn't be. It's a beautiful woman that is just waiting to be born. And this is like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, these poor people. They're so damaged.
Anyway, they are, but like it's like this. We need to make mythology around these people to explain what has happened to them, like a mystical creature that like devours people in the middle of the night.
Socialism wasting disease.
Yeah,
making them all because they'll catch the socialist rabies.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of good art to be made along these lines. There's a lot of good, books to be written. Like, you can write whole socialist horror stories just based on these concepts of, like, combining these things and all this crazy shit that they say. Like, socialism horror story. I mean, like, I already wrote a socialism horror story. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know.
Socialist horror stories, in fact. I wrote 2.
Oh, yeah. I guess you did. Oh, that's right, because you did the Alice in Queerland.
Yeah, it was more of a short story, but that's okay.
Still
good. Still good. Someday I'm going to make an AI.
There's a certain kind of darkness in the Pine Barrens, one that feels heavier than just trees blocking out the sky. It's the kind of darkness that makes even grown adults pause before stepping off the trail, because something in your instincts keeps whispering that you're being watched.
Ooh, the music's different in this
Locals shrug it off during daylight, brushing the stories aside with the same tired jokes their parents told them. But as soon as dusk settles in and the wind starts moving through those endless pines, the laughter stops. And that's when the forest feels different. On certain nights, when the air turns sharp and wet with mist, people swear they hear something cutting through the quiet. a sound that doesn't belong to any animal they know.
In the woods.
Too high for a fox, too jagged for an owl, and too guttural for anything that walks on four legs. It's a sound that makes your spine tense before your mind can even explain why. A scream, twisted, layered, like it's half living and half something else entirely. The Pine Barrens have always carried mysteries, unmarked graves swallowed by roots, abandoned cabins with no footprints leading in or out, fires that start with no spark. But one legend rises above all of them, old enough that nobody knows where the truth ends and the superstition begins. A creature people have insisted for centuries isn't just folklore, but something alive, moving in the dark, following the same paths it carved more than 300 years ago. Because if you've ever driven through that forest at night, then you already know the feeling. This is the story of the Jersey Devil, the legendary creature from the Pine Barrens of New Jersey.
So they're showing it as like a wolf thing. Okay.
To understand the Jersey
Yep.
Devil, you have to go back to a time
like a
when early
Tasmanian
America
devil.
was still raw and unforgiving.
I don't know. There's
The
different
Pine
different
Barrens
ways
in
it's
the
been
early
depicted.
1700s weren't the quiet, rustic retreat people romanticize today. They were a harsh wilderness, avoided by most and inhabited by the few who either had no choice or no fear. Poor families, outcasts, and people escaping debt often found themselves living among those crooked pines, trying to survive in the one place nobody else wanted. Among them was a woman known in local stories as Mother Leeds. Her real name might have been Deborah or Jane, depending on which old record you believe, but history remembers her simply as Mother Leeds. She lived in a small, weather-beaten cabin with her 12 children, 12 hungry, rowdy, constantly needing children. Life
As
for
they
her
are.
was not gentle.
Hmm.
Every season brought its own kind of hardship, and every new mouth to feed seemed to stretch her to a breaking point she never quite recovered from. So when she found out she was pregnant for the 13th time, something inside her snapped.
It's
Whether
not
it was
in the water.
exhaustion, despair, anger, or a moment of bitter humor turned sour, nobody really knows. But the legend says she cursed the child growing inside her. Not metaphorically,
Uh-oh.
not behind closed doors. She cursed it aloud, with the same intensity a desperate person uses when they feel like life is mocking them.
Uh-oh.
She
Over.
supposedly shouted that she hoped the child would be the devil himself. A sentence spoken in frustration, or something deeper.
Yeah, maybe don't say that.
The night of the birth felt wrong long before the first scream. The wind hammered against the cabin walls, rattling the shutters like something trying to get in. A storm rolled in with a suddenness that locals later insisted was unnatural, lightning splitting the sky over and over as if refusing to let the night go dark. Inside that cramped little room, Mother Leeds labored through a grueling birth with a few midwives by her side, unaware of the horror waiting just a few minutes ahead. The baby came into the world looking perfectly normal, a small, quiet newborn, slick with sweat and heat and the chaos of childbirth. But before anyone had time to breathe, before they could even clean the child's face, the air in the room changed. Witnesses claimed the baby's skin began to twist and tighten. Its limbs stretched unnaturally, bones cracked like dry branches snapping underfoot. The soft cry of a newborn turned into a sharp, violent shriek. In seconds, the child transformed into something no human language truly describes the same way. But everyone agreed on one thing. Whatever it became, it wasn't human anymore. The creature attacked the women in the room, knocking over furniture and sending panicked screams into the storm outside. Then, as if drawn by something beyond the walls, it rushed to the fireplace, scrambled up the chimney, and vanished into the night, leaving behind only blood, smoke, and the echo of a scream no one present would ever forget. Within hours, whispers spread through the community. People spoke of curses, witches, demonic bargains, and punishments from beyond. And deep in the Pine Barrens, hunters later claimed they saw something winged crossing the treetops, silhouetted by lightning, something that shouldn't have been able to fly. The story of the Jersey Devil didn't just begin with a monster. It began with a curse, a storm, and a birth that should never have happened. For more than 3 centuries, people have tried to describe the Jersey Devil, but no two accounts match perfectly. The details shift from witness to witness, but the overall shape, the unnerving silhouette, never really changes. It's always something tall, thin, and wrong. Something that looks like it was meant to be one creature, but was forced into the body of another. Most descriptions begin with its head. Some swear it resembles a gaunt, elongated horse skull, stretched too far and too narrow, like the bone beneath the skin is desperately trying to break free. Others insist the head is closer to a goat's, angular, sharp, with curling horns that jut unnaturally from its temples. Either way, the face tends to move in ways that don't feel animalistic. Witnesses talk about its eyes the most. Two bright points of glowing red or sickly yellow that lock onto you like they're deciding what you are. Prey, threat, or something else entirely. Its body is skeletal, tall but gaunt, with a ribcage that looks too pronounced, as if starvation shaped it more than muscle ever did. The creature walks strangely, half upright, half slouched, with a jerking, twitching quality that makes it feel like it's learning how to move as it goes. Some say its bones jut out beneath its skin. Others say it seems almost leathery, like the hide of an animal that's been dried out in the sun. The wings are what haunt most people. They're leathery, bat-like, and much larger than they should be for its thin frame. When folded against its back, they look like torn shadows clinging to its body.
If that thing
When
came at
spread,
me in
they
the woods,
stretch
I would
unnaturally
fucking burst
wide,
out laughing.
long
and
enough that
probably
some
very
witnesses claim
inappropriately.
they brushed both sides of
would
narrow
you?
dirt roads.
I would actually,
They
yeah.
flap with a heavy,
Like, are you
rubbery
serious?
sound, like
Kidding me?
thick canvas being snapped in the
Getting
wind.
attacked by a fucking
And
flying
sometimes,
goat.
witnesses swear the creature doesn't flap them at all.
Yeah,
It just
this
glides,
is how I go
drifting
out. Flying
silently
goat.
between the trees
Yeah,
as if
exactly.
gravity
At least
doesn't
I'm not
apply
being
to
shot
it.
by a socialist, I guess.
Its legs end in cloven hooves, a detail so consistent that even skeptics find it hard to ignore. These hooves are often found stamped deep into mud or sand, usually in patterns that make no sense. Tracks that suddenly stop in the middle of open ground, prints that change direction without any shift in the soil, and sometimes sets of tracks that appear to walk on rooftops before disappearing entirely. And then there's the tail, long, thin, and whip-like, almost reptilian. Some describe it as straight and twitching, while others say it curls like a serpent behind the creature as if it moves on its own. And then there is the cry, a piercing, guttural scream, often compared to a woman in agony or a dying animal. It cuts through the woods like something tearing fabric. People who hear it never forget it. Many freeze, others run. Some say it's the one sound that convinces even the boldest skeptics that something is alive in the pines. No matter how you piece the descriptions together, one thing becomes clear. The Jersey Devil rarely looks like it belongs here. It looks like something that
think?
slipped into our
Rarely.
world and has been
Like,
struggling
never.
against its own form ever since. Trying to understand the Jersey Devil's behavior is like trying to solve a puzzle when half the pieces belong to a different game. It doesn't act like a predator, it doesn't act like a scavenger, and it certainly doesn't behave like a territorial animal defending a home range. Instead, it moves with an unpredictability that feels almost intentional, like whatever it is, it doesn't play by the same instincts as normal creatures. Most sightings happen at night, usually during winter or after heavy storms, as if the creature is drawn out by the cold or unsettled air. People claim it drifts silently between trees, gliding low to the ground before vanishing behind a thicket of pines. It rarely approaches directly. Instead, it circles, tests, observes. The feeling of being watched is often the first sign, long before anybody hears a wing beat or catches a glimpse of glowing eyes in the branches. Despite its monstrous appearance, the Jersey Devil doesn't kill for sport. When livestock is found dead, the injuries are strange, sometimes precise, almost surgical, other times so chaotic it's impossible to tell what happened. Sheep drained of blood, chickens found untouched but frightened to death, hoof prints leading straight to a barn
What
and
does
then
a scared
stopping
chicken
as if
look
the
like?
creature simply lifted
Yeah.
straight into the air. Its personality is harder to pin down. Some accounts describe it as aggressive, charging wagons, clawing at windows, and shrieking loud enough to shake the glass. Others describe it standing still, watching from a distance like it's curious about the humans who've invaded its forest. Hunters who've locked eyes with it report feeling an immediate, overwhelming dread, not because the creature threatened them, but because its gaze felt too aware, too human in some strange, uncomfortable way. There are stories where it behaves
Yeah, it's like a
almost
griffin.
mischievously, farmers waking to find only one oddly placed hoofprint on their roof. Travelers spotting it perched on a fence, staring just long enough to be remembered. Entire groups hearing its cry but never seeing anything at all. It's as if the Jersey Devil slips between two states. One moment a frantic, thrashing beast, the next a careful, calculating observer. But the one trait that shows up again and again, across centuries, across towns, across every kind of witness, is its restlessness. The creature never stays in one place long. It darts from tree to tree, crosses frozen rivers in seconds, vanishes into fog as if it knows every hidden path in the barrens. Even when cornered or shot at, it seems more startled than wounded, like its fear response isn't pain or anger, but retreat. As if surviving here, staying unseen, is its only true instinct. People sometimes ask why it doesn't attack more often, or why it hasn't left a trail of bodies behind it. But maybe the Jersey Devil isn't hunting at all. Maybe it's simply enduring, caught in a world it was never meant to inhabit, wandering through the pines in the only way it knows how. Whatever its nature truly is, one thing is clear. The Jersey Devil moves through the pine barrens like a shadow with a heartbeat, never settling, never explaining, and never letting anyone get close enough to understand what it really wants. In the decades after the creature's legendary birth, the Pine Barrens developed a reputation that spread far beyond New Jersey. Those early settlers may not have had modern roads or electricity, but they had ears, sharp ones. Word traveled through taverns, churchyards, and trading posts about strange footprints, eerie screams in the night, and a winged figure gliding between trees long after it should have vanished into folklore. The earliest accounts came from farmers who lived on the outskirts of the barrens. They spoke of livestock found dead in ways no known predator could explain. Sheep were torn apart without signs of struggle. Horses were found trembling and soaked in sweat, their stalls splintered like something had tried to break in, or break out. Some animals refused to cross certain fields entirely, skittish and alert, as if they sensed something humans couldn't. Travelers added their own stories. Men guiding wagons along lonely roads claimed they saw a long, thin shape dart across the path, illuminated for only a heartbeat by lantern light before vanishing into the brush. Some said it moved faster than any deer and made a sound somewhere between a hiss and a scream. Others swore they saw wings, wide, leathery, unmistakable, unfolding in the dark. But nothing cemented the legend like winter sightings. Snow gave the Pine Barrens a silent stage, and that silence made every event harder to ignore. There are records from the late 1700s describing hoofprints that appeared overnight on rooftops, in fenced-in yards, even on the frozen surface of shallow ponds. What made these tracks disturbing wasn't just their shape, it was the way they traveled. Perfectly straight lines that didn't follow fences or paths. Steps that kept going across impossible terrain. Prints that ended abruptly in the middle of open snow, as if the creature simply lifted into the air and disappeared. By the early 1800s, the legend grew so persistent that even people of status began to take notice. One of the most famous stories involves Joseph Bonaparte, the older brother of Napoleon and former King of Spain. After being exiled, he bought a massive estate in New Jersey and frequently hunted in the barrens. According to his own claim, while out alone one winter night, he encountered a creature he couldn't explain. Tall, winged, with glowing eyes reflecting moonlight back at him like two burning coals. The animal stared for several long seconds before bolting into the trees with a shriek that haunted him for years. Bonaparte wasn't a superstitious local or a frightened farmhand. He was royalty, a man with education, influence, and absolutely no reason to lie. His account gave the legend a sudden weight it had never had before. Throughout the 1800s, sightings continued at a steady trickle.
Like I'm in this foreign land.
Sailors reported a winged beast circling above the coastline during foggy nights. Hunters claimed it paced them through the woods without ever revealing itself fully. Children whispered about seeing shadows perched on branches where no birds ever roosted. The Pine Barrens became a place defined by whispers, a wilderness where people walked faster, spoke softer, and tried not to think about what might be lurking just out of sight. These weren't random campfire stories. These were testimonies from people living hard lives in unforgiving land, people who didn't have the luxury of inventing monsters just for entertainment. And then, in the winter of 1909, all those centuries of fear erupted into something no one was prepared for. Hey everyone, before we continue,
No.
I've got some exciting news.
No
Twitter
ad.
isn't-
Sorry.
By the time the 20th century arrived, the Jersey Devil was already a well-known monster in New Jersey folklore. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared the region for what happened in January of 1909. It's one of the rare moments in American history where an entire population became gripped by a single fear at the exact same time. For one extraordinary week, the Jersey Devil didn't feel like a legend. It felt real, it felt present, and it felt unbelievably active. Everything began quietly on Monday, January 16th. A few towns in southern New Jersey reported strange hoof prints in the snow, oddly deep, oddly spaced, and found in places no animal could realistically reach. Rooftops, backyards sealed behind fences, paths that crossed rivers without breaking stride. People woke up, saw the tracks, and immediately recognized the shape. By the next morning, newspapers were already printing headlines. More towns found prints. Schools closed because parents were too afraid to let their children walk outside. Hunters strapped rifles over their shoulders and formed search parties. But the tracks they followed led them in circles, vanished abruptly, or reappeared miles away with no logical trail between them. Then the creature itself started appearing. Witnesses claimed they saw a winged beast perched on rooftops, gliding over backyards, or darting through fog with a scream so sharp it sent dogs running. In the town of Haddon Heights, a group of men reported firing directly at it. They said the creature screamed, spread its wings, and soared into the sky unharmed. The sightings intensified. In Woodbury, the creature was reported flying over the streets at dawn. In Camden, a trolley car full of passengers claimed it landed on the roof and shook the entire vehicle. In Bristol, Pennsylvania, police officers swore they cornered it in an alleyway, only for it to rear up, open its wings, and vanish into the night in a blur of motion. Towns all across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware woke up to the same eerie, impossible tracks. Schools announced emergency closures, factories shut down, armed guards were placed outside
People
various
really
buildings.
freaked the fuck out.
Even government
you
officials
imagine?
commented publicly,
Man,
trying to calm the
schools
chaos
shut down
without
because of a
dismissing it
monster.
outright. The panic peaked mid-week when a fire department in West Collingswood reported being attacked by the creature. According to their account, the beast swooped at them repeatedly, screaming and flapping its wings with violent force. The men fought it off with hoses and brooms until it retreated into the dark. That moment ended any remaining doubt. This wasn't just a rumor anymore. It felt like an invasion. By the end of the week, the sightings simply stopped. The creature vanished as abruptly as it appeared. People slowly returned to their routines, but the fear didn't fade easily. Newspapers across the country reprinted the stories, turning the Jersey Devil into a national obsession. Skeptics debated the events, believers claimed vindication, and countless families went to bed wondering whether the thing that screamed in the night might return. Over a century later, those 7 days in 1909 remain one of the most
Some of the
intense
old AI
mass
is
sightings
like,
of
it's
any
so
creature in American
clunky.
history.
Yeah.
Famous enough that researchers still analyze
It's
the
only gonna get
reports,
better.
track patterns, and debate what really
Only gonna
happened.
get better.
But for the people who lived through it, the explanation didn't matter. They were convinced the Jersey Devil had emerged from the Pine Barrens with a vengeance. And for a terrifying week, the world believed them. The Great Panic of 1909 may have been the moment the legend exploded, but it wasn't the end of the story. If anything, it marked the beginning of a new era, one where the Jersey Devil stepped out of folklore and into the unsettling category of active sightings. And over the last century, the encounters that followed have been just as strange, just as frightening, and sometimes even more believable than the ones from early America. Most modern sightings come from people who aren't looking for anything unusual. Late-night commuters, hikers, delivery drivers, hunters,
Late-night
and
commuters
families
in the middle
living
of
near
the
the
woods?
edges of the Pine Barrens. These are
As one
ordinary
does
individuals
occasionally.
in everyday
Yeah.
situations who suddenly find themselves face to face with something they can't explain. In the 1920s and 30s, several motorists reported seeing a tall, winged figure crossing the road in front of their cars. The creature moved awkwardly, almost limping, before launching itself into the air with a single, powerful motion.
Yo, the creature
Some
tricked
described
them.
the same
You made
chilling
them think
detail.
he
the
was
creature
injured and
didn't
then he
flap
attacked.
its wings right away.
Nice.
It just glided upward, drifting into
You're
the
almost
treetops
rooting
like
for
it
the creature
weighed
at that
nothing
point.
at
You're
all.
like stupid humans.
By the 1950s, entire
Get what you
neighborhoods
get,
in southern New Jersey
humans.
claimed the devil was returning. Residents of Gibbstown and Pennsauken swore they heard ear-splitting screams echoing through the woods at night, sounds so loud and sharp they woke people from their sleep. Police responded to dozens of calls, but by the time they arrived, there was nothing left but silence and the occasional set of hoof prints that stopped abruptly in the middle of the road. One of the most unsettling encounters occurred in 1972, when a group of boys riding their bikes near a bridge in Bridgeton claimed a thing with wings crawled out from underneath the structure and stared at them with glowing red eyes. The boys dropped their bikes and ran, returning later with adults who found the mud disturbed, the underbrush torn apart, and large tracks leading into a swampy patch of trees. Another striking case happened in 1980, when a forest ranger reported a winged creature perched on a dead tree about 20 feet off the ground.
What is even happening?
According
in that
to his
picture?
report,
Did
the
you see
creature
it?
stayed still
No,
for several
I gotta
seconds.
go back.
According to a
What?
winged
That one?
creature,
What is happening? It's like Angry Birds on crack.
He's gonna eat the stick. He's not even gonna eat the guy. He's gonna eat the fucking stick.
I can't make out like what's happening with this. Okay, that's got to be a wing. I'm like, okay, so when you ask AI to make something for you,
It's
and
like
you
some weird feet.
as if maybe yeah,
It's like some weird feet. You got a wing there.
it just looks like
He's
a
staring
bird
at the
is
stick,
in
not
slow
the man.
motion exploding. And I bet like when you ask AI to make you something that comes up with this, you actually put it in your video. Like I'd be like, no, we're not using this image. Like what the
I kind of love it, honestly. I'm just like, this is like avant-garde. This is like avant-garde shit right here. I'm like, I am putting that in the video, actually. Just to see if people are paying attention, just to see what happens. Because most people are probably not even like watching the video like we are. Most people are probably just listening to it, right?
Yeah, very possibly.
perched on a
Path
dead
of
tree
least resistance.
But
about
look, it's
20
just
feet off the
hovering there.
ground.
It's not even.
According to his report,
know.
the creature stayed still for several seconds, long enough for him to process that the shape he was looking at had hooves dangling beneath it. The ranger raised his flashlight, and the moment the beam touched it, the creature opened its wings and screamed. He said the sound wasn't like any bird, mammal, or human. It was something he felt in his chest more than heard in his ears. Even in the early 2000s, sightings continued. Hikers in Wharton State Forest reported hearing something enormous sweeping overhead in the dark. A couple driving late at night near Leeds Point. Ironically, the supposed
Their
birthplace
car
of the
burst
creature,
into flames
claimed
as
a
they
long,
drove
thin
through the
figure
woods.
with wings landed briefly on the hood of their car before launching
is the
off
car
into
on
the
fire?
darkness.
Why is the car?
They said the
That was a
hooves dented
movie.
their vehicle.
Oh,
Mechanics later confirmed the
dragon
damage but
instead.
couldn't explain the shape.
This is great.
And
Oh my
then
God,
there are
what
the
is
recordings. Campers have captured terrifying, inhuman screams deep in the barrens, sounds that don't match any known animal native to the region. Some videos show dark shapes gliding between
Look at his
trees.
tail.
Others show glowing eyes
Kinda ratty
reflecting in the
looking.
brush
Yeah,
before
it is ratty
vanishing.
looking.
Most are grainy, shaky, or
Ooh,
filled
There
with
you
look at
mud.
go.
But
Oh,
there's a
there it is.
consistency to their details that becomes harder to brush off the
The
more
little
you study
fucker.
them.
It's not even that big.
Yet perhaps the
You just
most
kick
chilling
that fuck-
encounters
look at-
aren't the loud
hang on,
ones.
hang on,
They're the quiet.
hang on. You can just kick that fucking thing.
Well, you
You just
can't
kick
really
it.
tell how big it is. I mean, you don't know how far away it is. It could have been really far away and they enhanced it. But I mean, I would not want to tangle with that at all.
I mean, like, I wouldn't do it out of, like, if I could just run away and, like, shut the door to my house or whatever, I'd probably do that. But, like, I really feel like I could take that thing if I needed to. If it was trying to attack me, I just, like kick it or something. Be like,
Okay.
Yet perhaps the most chilling encounters aren't the loud ones. They're the quiet ones. People hiking alone have reported the feeling of being followed, footsteps matching their pace in the
Karlyn
brush.
the Great
Only
Jersey
to stop the
Devil
moment they
Defeater.
yeah.
Drivers have
I was
caught
like, what
glimpses
the
of
fuck is
something
the
perched
problem?
on the edge of a tree line, watching them.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Residents
interested. I
living
don't
near
want
the barrens
Just
talk about
literally
seeing a
kick it.
tall silhouette
Like-
standing at the edge of their property in
No.
the early
Yeah,
morning
you're-
fog,
claws.
We're talking about
motionless.
the fucking gremlins here. It's a fucking gremlin. Do you know the size of gremlins? They're like this fucking big.
Yeah,
like
but the
everyone
Jersey
has
Devil's
such a
much
tough time with
larger.
them. They're this fucking big.
I
Just
still would
fucking
not
throw
want-
something heavy at them, or like kick them, or like, you know, I like pick up a heavy book, and like I don't know. There are any number of ways to solve this problem. They're fucking gremlins.
Yeah, but that, like this image here, because people are saying it is really tall. And so, I mean, that image, I don't know. That thing could have been 3 or 4 feet tall, I think. It's
You could
maybe
even
not
just
as
pick
big.
it up and throw it at something. Pick it
Mm-mm,
up by the
no.
back of the fucking neck. This is what you do. You pick it up by the back of the neck and you chuck it at a tree.
I think you're overconfident. Those claws and teeth going crazy. I just don't. Have you ever
If
tried to
I-
pick up a mad cat?
Okay,
Just-
maybe fair point, but like I could
With
kick a mad
wings.
cat. I absolutely could kick it or throw something heavy at it.
There you
Be
go.
like, pick up one of these signs, be like, nail
God
it
damn
between the fucking eyes.
There you go. That'll work.
Until the moment they blink. For skeptics, it's easy to dismiss these accounts as imagination, misidentification, or fear of the unknown. But for the people who encounter it, the details are too distinct, too familiar, and too eerily consistent with centuries of reports. The Pine Barrens haven't become quieter over time. If anything, they've become louder. And whatever moves in those woods hasn't faded with history. It's adapted to it. For as long as the Jersey Devil has been part of American folklore, people have tried to explain it, either to demystify the creature, justify the sightings, or convince themselves there's nothing truly stalking the Pine Barrens. Yet every explanation seems to solve one piece of the puzzle while creating a new problem elsewhere. Theories come in waves, some grounded, some outrageous, and some unsettlingly plausible. The most common explanation is the Mother Leeds theory, that the entire legend grew out of a real woman named Deborah or Jane Leeds, whose large family and poor living conditions became the foundation for a cursed child story. Some historians believe the tale was partly political, used to slander the Leeds family during colonial feuds. According to this view, the Jersey Devil wasn't born out of supernatural horror, but out of local gossip, religious panic, and community grudges. It makes sense on paper, except it doesn't explain the centuries of sightings, tracks, and consistent physical descriptions that followed long after the Leeds family faded from relevance. Skeptics point to misidentified animals, a malformed deer, a sandhill crane, a large owl distorted by shadows or fog. And while those explanations sound reasonable, they fall apart when you consider the details witnesses repeatedly describe. Hooves, wings, glowing eyes, a skeletal frame, a whip-like tail. Even cranes, among the largest birds in North America, don't leave cloven tracks on rooftops or scream with the voice of something that sounds neither bird nor mammal. Cryptozoologists offer another theory, that the Jersey Devil could be a surviving relic species, some unknown winged creature adapted to the Pine Barrens' isolation. The Barrens stretch across more than 1 million acres, vast, dense, and surprisingly untouched. It's not impossible, they argue, that something strange evolved there long before colonists arrived. This explanation accounts for the creature's odd movement patterns, nocturnal habits, and ability to remain unseen. But it still doesn't explain the legendary Leeds birth or why such a creature would resemble a stitched-together parody of multiple animals. Then there are the supernatural theories, which take the legend at face value. Some believe the Jersey Devil is exactly what early settlers claimed: a demon, a cursed child, a creature torn between two realms. They point to the creature's ability to appear and vanish quickly, the way its tracks end mid-stride, and the fact that no one has ever caught it, killed it, or found a body. In folklore, demons don't fade with time. They linger, they haunt, they persist through generations, just as the Jersey Devil seems to do. Another theory suggests the creature is a tulpa-like phenomenon, a manifestation born from centuries of belief and fear. In other words, the legend itself created something real, something that takes form because so many minds over so many years gave it shape.
That shit where people convince themselves something is true, and then by convincing themselves something is true, like they create that thing.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, I believe that as well. I don't know about physically, but I definitely believe you can create energy creatures for sure.
Explanation blends psychology with the supernatural, suggesting that the Pine Barrens may hold on to emotions the same way they hold on to mist. If enough people fear a thing, perhaps the fear becomes real. And then, among hunters and people who've spent their lives in the Barrens, there's a quieter theory, that the Jersey Devil is not one creature, but many. They argue that sightings span too many centuries for a single being to survive. The variations in appearance from generation to generation hint that something might be breeding, changing, or evolving. Maybe the Leeds legend describes the origin of the first, but not the last. Maybe the truth isn't in any single theory. Maybe it's in the spaces between them, the same spaces where the creature itself is always hiding. The Jersey Devil may be a myth to some, a monster to others, but to the people who've heard that sound with their own ears, it's a presence, a warning, a piece of the forest that refuses to die. And the next time you find yourself driving through the Barrens after dark, windows down, radio off, nothing but the road and the trees on either side, listen closely.
Why are they always
You
driving
might
into
not
a fire?
hear anything,
Like, what the hell?
or you might hear exactly
good
what they've been
question.
talking about for the last 300 years.
Look at that thing! You know what? That was the perfect ending, Jennifer. Let's just watch that last moment.
Might not hear anything,
It's just we can turn the sound off. We don't have to, but just like
Rawr, rawr,
Yeah.
rawr,
deeply terrifying. The New Jersey Devil,
rawr.
deeply terrifying.
There's a
All
guy.
right, go
on
ahead.
There's a guy on Instagram that I love who his whole thing is, his whole shtick is like he's got one of those little dinosaur heads on a stick, and he does like the shadow with it, and he'll show the shadow on different things, and he just goes rawr, 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 and it's like the cutest. I don't know why it's so cute, but it is so freaking cute. It's I just love his videos. They're only a few seconds, but it's like the most precious little. His little rawrs are adorable because he'll start giggling. He goes rawr. It's just, I don't know. It tickles me. I like it.
Man.
Little thing.
All right. Well, that was a fun and actually rather relaxing evening, learning about mystical creatures and monsters and things like that. That was fun.
Yeah, little
Why
to
not?
try to make up for last week. Get some decent videos with some fun graphics and some interesting information about our local cryptids.
Yeah. You got anything else you want to announce or discuss before we wrap up the show? I'm tired.
Yeah, I am too. It's been a day. It's been unwinding. Yes, I do. So next week for movie night, I am taking us through Patriotic July with some chronicling some of our big events in our country. We did the Patriot last Sunday, and next we're moving on to the Civil War, and we will be doing the amazing classic that they better never fucking redo or touch in any way, Gone with the Wind.
Yo, I fucking love Gone with the Wind. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. I fucking love it. I'm here for it. I'm like ready for it. I'm so excited about this movie. I bet a lot of people haven't seen it. It's a great movie. I love old movies, man.
I do too. Yeah, it's an excellent piece of film. The acting is amazing. The storytelling is amazing. And
costuming.
Oh my god! It won like, what did it win? Like 12 Academy Awards.
Yeah.
And it wasn't beat until recently. But yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I used to watch it every year. Like, it was one of those things. I have to watch that particular movie. I had to watch it every year. I had like 3 movies that I would have to watch. Like, I was getting my itch, and now I got to watch my classics.
No. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Do you know, I heard that Clark Gable had really bad halitosis.
Really?
Yeah, and so like what's Vivian Lee just hated doing the close, because they do those close talking scenes, you know, and then the new just kiss her, and she was like, it was torture because his breath was so bad.
Oh no.
I don't know if you've ever smelled,
Gable.
yeah, I don't know if you ever smelled halitosis, but it is particularly awful. It is terrible.
I don't think I have.
Oh yeah, when someone talks, you can almost see like the fumes coming out.
Oh no.
Horrible. Yeah, so bless him. And it's too bad because he was such a heartthrob, right? And it's like, oh yeah, he's hot, but he's got terrible bad breath. That's so sad. And so we will be doing Gone with the Wind next Sunday, and I keep clicking the wrong thing because I am awesome at it. Then we're going to be examining, after the Civil War, the story of our native people with Dances with Wolves, and then we will fast forward to the Second World War with Saving Private Ryan.
All right.
So that's our journey this month. MacB is doing James Bond July. And I believe he is doing Her Majesty's Secret Service this coming Monday.
Ooh. All right. Fancy. So make sure you guys join Jennifer for movie nights on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. MacB for movie nights on Mondays at 9 p.m. And yeah, that's it, Jennifer. I'm like about ready to fall asleep, so I'm not being terribly entertaining. I'm just tired.
Yeah, I mean, we're
time for bed.
Okay, yeah, sleepy time. Go snuggle
All right.
up.
Well, it was a good show. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys. Have a good one.